Perfect timing. I'm still hidden.
Corner pocket, Andy.
Oh, this is so annoying. It should.
Hey, I don't know where Andy is.
I don't know. I can't.
You can't get a clear picture of him.
Yeah. The elusive Bigfoot Andy. It's all good. Right. So we are back. Hello, everyone. Welcome to part 2. We're going to continue with Chris Reinhardt. So, do you want to carry on from where we left off?
Yeah. My question was, what is the coolest gift that you've been left?
So I can give you the grossest gift first, and then the coolest gift was a quartz stone. They gave us stones and feathers at the gifting area a lot, but then they play games with the stuffed monkey, like I told you before. But the grossest thing I ever got was a whole coyote leg ripped off the dog, right at my back door.
Yes.
I woke up one morning. I was sick and I couldn't make it up to the gifting area for a month. I had a gallbladder. They had to take my gallbladder out. Blah blah blah. And I come downstairs one morning and my wife goes, "Look out! Well, what's that out by the back door?" And I'm looking out the top of the window. I'm like, I have no idea what that is. So I go downstairs to open up the door, and lo and behold, it is a freshly ripped off coyote leg off the dog. I mean, it blood and. I won't go into details, but let me tell you, it was fresh and warm.
Yeah, you sent me the picture of that, and I'm like,
and it was
this guy trying to make me ill.
So there's been a lot of speculation on what that was, and a lot of people think that was a gift from them to me to get better and well. And but I threw it back in the forest, and I went to get the guys from work. 10 minutes, that I work where I live, and 10 minutes later we come back down, and the leg is gone from the woods. There's no animals that are going to take a coyote leg around here. It was especially within 10 minutes. So whatever left it was watching very closely.
I wonder if they were pissed that you threw back their gift.
No, I don't know. But I started going back up that weekend, back up to the gifting area. And we never felt threatened except for one time when something jumped out and shook the ground. It sounded like it jumped out of the tree and boom. And like the ground shook. And Larry, my buddy that used to go with me all the time, got up and went to his backpack and took his machete out. He's never done that before. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, did you just hear that? He goes, yeah. I go, yeah. He goes, that's why I'm taking the machete out, because whatever that was huge. It shook the ground. It sounded like a mortar, like going off underneath the ground. It's like, boom. But the whole ground shook. Yeah. But the coolest part, Larry used to get raven feathers left for him. They had he has like a wood burning furnace. So he would have to stoke the furnace to have heat and hot water. And he would cut wood all the time. And he had like a little bin for a shed for his thing. And he would go to work in his truck. So they would leave him a raven feather at his truck door. And then they would leave a raven feather right at the entrance, the door to the boiler. And then they would leave him pieces of white birch and raven feathers inside the little shack that he had for his wood. Larry never burnt white birch, but white birch is great for fire starter. So we figured they were leaving it as a gift for Larry. Here, this could help you light your fire. But we have pictures of all that, of the raven feathers and all those spots. It was really cool.
That is cool.
So yeah, it was a wild ride. Especially the last year they were following us. We found a tree. We would do pattern hikes. We would always go the same way, never try to surprise them. And that way they knew where we were going. They could either come behind us or they could follow us or go ahead of us, and they would know where we're going. So we didn't want to fool them. So in that way too, we would notice different things that were done. One spring we were coming up and there was this X thing laying in all these vines, and it was never there before. And it's just laying there. It was like 5:30 in the morning, and we look up and the sun's coming right up in between the X, right in the middle of the X. I'm going, Larry, check that out. And he's looking at it, and I'm like, next time we're up here, we got to bring a compass and we got to check out this tree, because I'm telling you, this is a compass, and it's meant for direction. So next weekend we come up, we bring the compass with us, we put it right on that X, magnetic north, right at the cross section, magnetic north. And we're just blowing our minds while we're doing this. And back of us, bang, bang, something knocks on the tree 50 yards in back of us. They're watching us check their stuff out. So we just went about our business. We did our hike that day, and all that. And it was cool that we found this marker tree. Now we know that they're using it for some kind of guidance through the forest, or I don't know.
Yeah.
So the next weekend we come up, and guess what? That thing's on the ground, out of the vines, on the ground, but still magnetic north on the ground. That was the cool part. We put the compass right back on, and you can see this in my channel on Discover Sasquatch. It's in the videos. The knock, everything, we catch it all that day, and you can see the compass. So pattern hikes, that was another cool thing that happened up there. And that was the last year, and then the place got sold and we could never get back, and it was very very upsetting. 6 years, like,
imagine. Wow. That's not good, is it?
Nope. But they never came back down to Larry's either. They come once in a while, but they wouldn't visit as much because we weren't visiting them. But they come here. They come not all the time. I mean, they're not here all the time, but they definitely, like I said, they were just here the last couple of weeks here. And let you know that they're here. Excuse me?
You think there's like a migration?
I just think they come to pop in. They miss you. I think they want to say hi. I think that, they just want to let you know that they're still around, come to the forest. I think because I've had back problems these last 2 years, so I haven't really been doing what I normally would do. I'm usually in the woods 3-4 times a week. I just can't do it with my back, but now my back's starting to heal up a little bit. So this coming year, I'm having good feeling that I'm going to be able to get back at it again and get the results again. But it doesn't stop me. I went hiking in the green swamp this year, and I went to Snellgrove Lake again up in Canada, and that was wild. And so I'm still doing what I can, but that's just not as much. No.
So have you been in, I'm guessing you have been in touch with the new landowners to see if you can go on there?
Well, this is what happened. See, when I had my gallbladder surgery, they didn't take everything out, and then I got another infection. So I had to go back in the hospital. Well, Larry thought while I was in the hospital, he would go and check on things. Well, he would never go by himself because he was kind of afraid. You would be afraid too if you knew these things were real and they're in the forest. And the new owners, we didn't know that it was bought, and so he was just doing normal. But he went up with a machete in his hand, 3:00 in the afternoon, with his wife beater white T-shirt on. Got caught on trail camera. All over Facebook that night. Do you know this man? And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, Larry, what were you doing?
No.
So yeah, that kind of the new landowners kind of frowned on letting us back up there. But
Yeah.
Larry wouldn't hurt a fly. You know what I mean? He's a great guy, but just had the machete for protection. So we've thought about trying to reach out to him, but I think after the cops got involved and everything like that, our chances were probably pretty slim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Got a question from Blue Shift. He's asking, have you got any pictures? I'm not sure. I think he's on about the coyote leg.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to pull him up right now, like out of the blue. I don't think I could try.
No. I've probably got them somewhere because I've got folders where people send me stuff and I put it in like name related. So I can have a quick look now if you want. Because if I've got them, they'll be on the PC. They'll be on this PC.
Coyote.
You don't?
YouTube is not going to like that.
Oh, well,
yeah, no, it's pretty gross. It is gross.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Okay. I mean, you just got monetization tax. You want to risk it?
Don't try and ruin it now. There we go. No, so it's not that folder.
Did you find it?
Location, images, videos. No. Random. Receive data. Random. No. I think I was on my old PC when you sent it.
Yeah, I was one of your first.
Yeah. I think you was like the first, or one of the first.
One of the first ones when you started up. Yeah, me and Al.
Yeah, I know.
All right, hold on. I'm doing it on my phone real quick.
Yeah, it was on my old PC, so I couldn't, because of how old that was to this one, I couldn't transfer anything over.
I'll probably be able to find it real quick here. Let me see.
He's put pick or Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Oh, Bigfoot pictures? I don't really.
Oh, pick up Bigfoot.
I don't share like the pareidolia. I don't have any clear pictures of Bigfoot. I'll put it that way.
No.
I have one that I've always liked, and I call. I think it was we had knocked at the first time up at Larry's, and we were looking for the gifting spot, and we would just do our pattern hikes, and I told Larry, they're going to let us know where they want us, you know? So we're walking down the road and all of a sudden, bang, bang, right on the side of the trees, midday. Like, wow, those were wood knocks. We just thought it was the coolest thing since sliced bread. And, you know, you get so excited, but you know, how many people, everybody's heard wood knocks, but you haven't, and it's your first time. So you're posting it to everybody. We got wood knocks. Yeah. But anyways, there was a rock where they knocked from out in the middle of nowhere. And that's how we chose our gifting area, because they knocked right for us right there.
So, question. So with the wood knocks, are they doing that for your benefit, as in humans, or do you think they're doing it to communicate with themselves? Because it just seems to be that they're doing it for human activity.
I don't even know if it's wood on wood. I think they do it with their mouths, to tell you that.
Yeah, a few people said that.
Yeah.
Or their palms of their hands, or because they're massive, and they would be able to make it sound like wood. So come on.
Don't worry if you can't get it. We can always
put it on the group for the community.
Yeah, our community page.
Oh, there it is. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you tilt it down, there we go, perfect.
You.
Yeah, poor dog, right? And that's how it was left on my back door.
Gross.
Yeah.
There it is. Sorry, everybody, but that's all I got.
No.
I wasn't prepared for that one. But we also had this cool down tree at Larry's, and you would go up and there would be a branch leaning on it, one side on the left-hand side. And then the next time you come up, the branch would be on the right-hand side. And they would alternate all the time. But one time we went up there at Thanksgiving and it was balanced, teetering on top of the root ball. It was the most incredible thing you would ever. And how does that happen on its own? It doesn't. Yeah. And there's nobody out there that knows that we're going that route looking at those trees. And it was right where they left us a quartz stone, our first gift, right at the same area. And so they had specific areas where they would interact with you. And then there's other areas where they wouldn't do anything. But that balanced tree was cool. You can see all this in on Discover Sasquatch on YouTube. It's all in the videos.
Yeah. Could you just quick the story of the woods that you go into and the time that you went and you felt like you'd gone into some sort of time slip or into a portal where you was disorientated?
Yeah, that happened like 3 times in a row with the girls. Yeah.
Oh wow.
They said that it felt like we weren't in the same area. We were just there the week before. She goes, everything doesn't feel the same. It's not. Are you sure we're in the same spot? That's what she said. And they did that twice. And now same day was when we had rocks thrown at us and they were tapping into our phones and playing videos off of YouTube and crazy stuff like that goes on. And both times when that happened, the girls always said it felt like that we weren't in the same area. Are you sure we're in the same area?
Yeah.
So.
And didn't you get lost or something for a couple of hours?
Oh, we got lost at Larry's once. Yeah, we were just walking. And like I said, we did pattern hikes all the time.
Yeah.
We knew Larry's like the back of our hands. I mean, 6 years, 4 times a week, we knew Larry's.
Yeah.
One time we were walking and all of a sudden me and Larry look at each other and we were like, where are we? Do you know where we are? And I'm like, I have no idea where we are. I said, we've never been here before, Larry. And we're looking around and we're walking straight. And then all of a sudden we peek up and all of a sudden there's this big X, boom, right in front of us. And we stopped and we were talking and we're like, Larry, where are we? We got out because we knew where we, how to get out.
Yeah.
We've never been there before. We didn't know how we got there. We just got discombobulated some way. But like I said, we had a path, worn out path from our hiking. And we were way off trail. Larry will tell you the same thing. You could have him on the show and he'll tell you the same stuff.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Get you all. Yeah, everyone on. Yeah.
Everybody. Do another 24.
Right.
No more 24s.
Yeah. No, Larry's tough to get on camera. He doesn't like to be on camera. But I did do a interview with Larry when I first started doing the podcasting. He's on there. So look for Larry Munzner, the interview with Larry Munzner, and he'll tell you all about it.
I got this. Why I got a notebook out because I got to take all the notes.
But we tried meat up there. They would never eat hot dogs. Never would touch hot dogs. Never would touch Granny Smith apples. They would stay in the tree and rot, and that would prove to you that there would be no other animals there. The apples would rot in the tree. If a deer was coming through there, the deer would suck up those apples. If it was a bear, it would eat those hot dogs. But when you couldn't go back up and couldn't bring them meat again, they would go down to Larry's and slap the side of the house.
I remember you saying. Yeah.
So we decided to stop. I mean, you learn all this stuff as you're going along. We stopped the meat because they were expecting the meat. They liked the meat. Yeah. So we stopped gifting the meat. But they love peanut butter. They love apples, red, delicious apples. We would play games. We were burying the gifts under the ground in Tupperware containers with stones and dirt and everything piled on top of them. And we would go there. All the stones would be lifted off. Everything. The Tupperware lid would be popped and all the gifts would be taken out of the Tupperware. That is not an animal. They knew where the stuff was. We would put stones on top of the peanut butter jars and leave them on a stump. The stone would be on the stump and the peanut butter jar would be gone. 6 years, we never found one peanut butter jar. After the first 2 were ripped apart, I lifted it up and I showed how to do the lid. 6 years, we never found another one. Never found another peanut butter jar, ever. It was wild, man. It was the best time. It was so cool. It was cool. It was you were like a cool kid on the block. in your own
I'm
mind.
so jealous.
I know.
Got nothing.
So at the top of Rock Throw Alley, where we go now, this is where we first started. We can get this going, but it's a hike. It's like an hour and 15 minutes straight up. And to get there every day and 4 times a week is a chore. But I'm telling you, if I can get up there and do it this spring, we're going to have some good stuff going on up there, because that's where they're up there too. There's a fake fire pit up there that they break branches and they leave them on the side of the fire pit like something. Hasn't been a fire in there in 9 years. But they leave branches all around it and throw stones at you. I was live on Facebook one day up there showing my group the fake fire pit, and I bend over to show them, and all of a sudden a rock comes in, boom, and hits the fire pit right on live Facebook. It was incredible.
Oh my God.
Yep. You can ask. There's people that still talk about it this day. So,
I'm definitely coming to America next year. You just all have to meet me at JFK and we'll go from there.
Yeah, come on. That's not too far from here. No, flying to Bradley. That's closer to me.
Yeah.
No JFK.
Well, that's what I was going to do, but it's like 5 times the amount of money. It was ridiculous.
To fly to Bradley? Oh, yeah. It is expensive to travel. People, I mean, oof.
It was, I'll tell you the prices.
It killed me.
It was 170 to fly to JFK from Gatwick, London.
Yeah.
To fly to Bradley, it was 1,000 and something.
Oh, well, that's not really that bad.
800 and some pound difference, yeah.
Yeah, no, JFK is close enough. It's like an hour from me, so
yeah, no, it's not that
I'll pick you up on my way.
Yeah, JFK is not that bad. Oh, we could organize a whole bunch of stuff, man. We go camping. We go camping right at Rock Throw Alley. There's a camping area right on the road.
I just got a camper.
I've got a tent.
I'll just pull it right up.
Oh, we got tents. I got tents.
Yeah.
But then you go up to Al's spot too. Go up to the sacred site. That place was crazy, man. When I was on the show after that when I went to go see Al.
I've seen pictures.
Yes,
of that
both of them.
And told you about the freaking poltergeist storm that came in that night.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Right in the middle of where you
right in the middle, and there was no other storms anywhere else. And he put the compass right at my feet, and that thing was spinning like this. Like this. I was like, what is going on? And he had those. What are those? The rods that they hold? Dowsing rods. And everywhere he went, they kept on pointing back to me. Yeah. Everywhere. And then all of a sudden I got drop dead cold. It was like -30, and I was shivering. I had an attachment. It was the craziest night. That place was crazy.
Weren't you ill for a couple of days after that?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we left that spot and walked about 100 yards, everything just went. It was crazy night.
Yeah.
I'm not here to make up this stuff, people. You can either choose to believe me or not, and I'm not here to. I'm all about awareness, and I'm telling you, this stuff is really happening out there. I work full time. I have 2 grandbabies that live with me. I am sane mind. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't do anything. I'm boring. I do Bigfoot. That's my addiction.
That's good enough.
But all this stuff has really happened. And Maria, my wife, would tell you, she shakes her head at it. She hasn't been in the forest in 6 years. She won't go in. She won't go hiking anymore. And she used to go hiking by herself.
Yeah, no, nothing.
Yep.
Oh, it's mad. Right. It's time for you to go, Chris. But I don't want you to.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much. And definitely we need to get you back on in the new year and find out how you're getting on with the real American monsters. Yeah, well, that's going. Because obviously it's going to do well.
I hope so.
I'm
Reinhardt, very, very hard at that. This is like the most I've ever put into the YouTube thing ever. So
it's
not like your normal hike. Oh yeah, for sure. We'll let you know. Al's got your information, right? Al knows how to get a hold of you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Al knows.
Squatch Father himself, Alfred Sanctuary. He's going to the sacred site tomorrow night.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's going tomorrow night. Not with me though. I'm not going back there for a little while. See, I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna get a flight and go to the Shenley. Fog and gray stuff and jumping from trees and it was a crazy night.
I get a bit of mist going across the tray and something that makes a noise of a frog, and that's it.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. That night was crazy. I wish we could have filmed all that went down that night. It was just wild.
Yeah.
We had rocks thrown at us on the way out too. We were walking down the path and the rock would come out of the woods at us, and
it's just mad. It really is. It's just so
certain people, all this is attracted to certain people.
Yeah, definitely.
Like a magnet. But
definitely.
I wish you guys the best of luck. I keep on going and going, but I wish you guys the best of luck with your podcast. Nice meeting you, Nicole.
Nice to meet you.
And I will see you guys again. I'll have to have you guys come
hopefully,
on. I'm going back onto Untold Radio Network again, doing my podcast. I'm starting back up next week. I had to take a troll break. I was getting hammered hard by one individual, but I'm just not going to let it bother me anymore.
Nah.
Yeah, do it.
Nah.
Walk up and
cut them off. Cut them off. Ignore them. Best thing.
Yeah, I had to take a break, though. It was getting a little too much. But anyways, I'm going to go back. That's on Untold Radio AM, and Discover Sasquatch is my YouTube channel if you guys want to go and see everything I talked about tonight.
Excellent.
And thank you.
No, thank you so much for coming on. Absolute amazing person and good friend. And hopefully I get to meet you at some point early next year.
Yeah. I look forward to all of it.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, guys.
Right. Cheers, Chris.
See y'all. Thanks for showing up. Listen to me ramble.
Anytime. Anytime. See you later. Bye-bye. Oh, what a top guy.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing. Right. We have our next guest, one of two lined up. So can we take a quick break? It's only going to be like 2 minutes. Is that right? Get a quick 2-minute break and then
a thumbs up from Anthony.
Yeah, I just seen. So I shall play a video if we can find it. 2 minutes 20.
2 minutes. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And hopefully Jennie will be on by the time we get back and we'll bring him right on.
Excellent. Right. See you guys in 2.
We are back.
Perfect timing. We are back, and we are back with another guest, and the person is
Anthony Simonelli from Secret Chronicle of
Hey guys.
Paranormal.
No.
Hey.
What's up, guys?
How
How
are
you
you?
doing?
Oh, good.
Forget about it.
Hey, how you doing?
I love the accent. I love that accent.
I'm from New York. I don't got the accent. You guys got it.
They have the accent, right? You should hear
Yeah.
Andy's accent when he
No.
tries to do her accent.
No, you'll never speak to me again.
But Anthony,
How you guys doing? Hey, long podcast now, huh?
We are 4
4
hours.
4 hours,
4 hours
in
into
there.
it. Doesn't feel 4 hours. Feels like 20 minutes, half an hour.
it's been going fast.
So as long as I keep that mindset,
Mm-hmm.
I reckon I'll be okay.
Well, we
Not
could
It's
talk
more.
about that. So.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go backwards here. Look at this. I'm backwards.
Oh,
You're forward.
It's backwards. I should have did
not.
a mirror.
no, that's good. We can see it the right way.
You can see it the right way? Okay.
Mhm.
Right
On the
way.
screen is backwards. Just forget about it.
Mhm.
So when you're on that side, it double reflects. So you go backwards and forwards. So we see it the right way, but you don't.
Okay.
It took me about 6 months to get my head around that.
Wow. So
Yeah.
the audience sees it right. Okay.
We can
Yeah.
see it, right?
All good.
Okay.
Do you have
So-
what do you have in the background? Bella dolls?
Two of them.
Gab,
Twins. Got two Bellas. I did it. I seen them on eBay, and I was like, as a joke, somebody was bidding. They were bidding, so I put a $40 bid down. Guess who won?
You won those for $40?
$40 for both of them.
Andy?
Huh?
Have you seen those, Andy, those dolls?
no. I don't know what.
You want me to go get it and put it on?
Yeah.
For?
Yeah.
It's not
What do
like
you-
my ET, is it?
No, they're used in like spirit communication because, kind of like the DR60, like the whirring of the motor and like,
Is that the one with the built-in REM pod?
no,
No,
it's just a doll.
no.
Discontinued them because they act weird.
Yeah, I already don't
In
like it.
French. You can speak French or English. Let me put it in English.
But sometimes they say really, really weird things.
Freaky thing.
Yeah.
Imagine that going on in the middle of the night. It'll get booted out the window.
Because of like the mechanical sounds when they move, it's really good for EVP work. Because
Ah.
we
Yeah.
not like mechanical sounds.
They're freaky.
They are
Yeah.
freaky.
And then,
Has it ever gone off when you've not been like using it?
not yet. I just got them.
Oh,
So I even haven't a chance to use them yet. So we use them for like trick objects. I also got
Mhm.
this one by accident too. I keep this in the plastic, so let me see if I can turn this one on.
is that a Cabbage Patch Kid?
I keep it in there so it doesn't get dirty. But it doesn't. I don't know if my battery's working right now. It should be.
And while he opens that, we have Jennie Collucci, also from
Hello.
Seekers Chronicle Paranormal Stories podcast. Oh, that's
I
so
don't
creepy.
like that.
It's freaky.
Them eyes. What?
Can't hear you.
Jennie hates these things. I shut it off. Okay.
Oh, no. Its eyes were blue, and then they went like glowing orange.
Yeah, it was crazy, huh? So, 60 years old and I'm buying dolls. My wife's like, "What's wrong with you?"
Oh, that's what my cousin does because they collect the little figures. Well, not little, but like this kind of stuff. He goes, how's your doll collection going? They're not dolls.
Yeah, it's
Go out and then come back in.
Oh, she's having technical difficulties.
Yeah.
So many technical difficulties.
I know.
tonight.
I think I'm going to change the tagline. So it's not where the paranormal becomes normal, where you go out and come back in again.
Yeah. I think paranormal to us is normal.
Yeah. Well, that's why I did the paranormal becomes normal, because, and then it goes the other way where normal becomes paranormal. They're both the same thing, just at different times.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my analogy.
Yeah.
Right.
So is she back?
Can we
Hello?
hear you?
Can you hear you?
Hello.
Yay.
Hi. Sorry.
I don't know.
It's not like
It's fine.
I StreamYard every day.
Yeah.
It's
Turn it
all
off
right.
and turn it back on.
I just blame Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. That's it.
I love it.
Just blame them for
Unplug
everything.
Unplug it.
Unplug.
So,
Yeah.
how is everyone?
Awesome.
Good. Everybody's good. We had Halloween here yesterday, so we had a,
Yeah.
time. Teeth are still picking candy on my teeth, but yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. It's like you get the Snicker bars and then the Hershey bars, and I like the chocolate more than the other stuff. So.
And I like the other stuff, so we get along great.
This is why you guys make the perfect partners.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
What I want doesn't like, she likes, and what I like, she don't. So it's
True.
Goes back and forth.
True.
So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the sour stuff and all that.
Yeah.
I like it. Anything child palate I've got. So, other than peanuts, I'll eat very much anything.
So we've talked about UFOs so far. We've talked about Bigfoot, and now we get to talk about ghosts.
Yes.
And spirits.
Well, Anthony is definitely the ghost guy.
Yeah, I've been doing it for over 48 years. I've been.
And he's like 27 years old, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah. I'm 27.
Same age as me.
I had a hard life. I'm 27 years old.
So, how did you guys get into not the paranormal? I don't mean like what was your first encounter and stuff like that. What was like the realization when you noticed that you was pretty much doing this all the time?
Jennie, you start first.
Sure.
Ladies first.
Yeah, I think unlike most people, I didn't have any experiences my whole life. I got into this really to like help people not be afraid, help debunk things. I have a background in physics, so like it really helps sometimes. And just help people not be afraid. I'd be the person like, there's nothing under your bed, go back to sleep, kind of thing as a kid.
Yeah.
So I'm really, I think, alone in that. Like everyone I know had some kind of experience, but I never did. Never. Until recently. So that's kind of what hooked me when I went, oh, all my life I've been denying this, and suddenly I can't anymore.
Right. And do you find that you've got any, I'm going to use the term special abilities when you go out investigating?
I would say my special ability, Nicole's laughing because she gets it. I think it's just critical thinking. I don't have any medium abilities like Anthony.
Yeah. Cool.
Me and Jennie are the sciencey ones when we go out.
We are. And I do not have any like sensitivity, but I'm trying. I'm trying recently to be really open-minded. So.
Yeah. So
it does have it, but sometimes it's a little hidden, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because her science side of her says nah, and then her side of going out paranormal investigation, she's like, oh, that's cool. It's like, so I think that's a constant conflict with her. That's why she does have abilities, but something she is like that scientist, like she has to beat it to death and understand why.
The logic.
Yeah, more of a logic.
Yeah.
That's Jennie. She just beats her abilities until she says, no, forget about it. Yeah.
Because I'm the same way with that.
Yeah. Right. I'll be like up in the middle of the night going, wait, but what about this? But what about the wind? What about the, was it humid that day? you know, kind of thing. And then, yeah, he's right. I get to the point where I'm like, forget it. Somebody whispered in my ear,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So under Anthony's name, it says para artist. So do you do this while you're out investigating, or you do it afterwards?
Well, sometimes I do it during, sometimes after. You know,
Yeah.
it's depending how not every location you go to, you can also say, sit down and draw. You know,
Yeah,
sometimes when these like abandoned looking buildings, like, you know, it's like old hospitals or old place, and you know, and I like going off my own a lot of times too. And all I got is my little 2-inch night vision camera, the LED screen, and that's all I see. You know, so to sit down and actually draw right then and there, no. But yeah, I have drawn, and it's weird when I see it. It's like it stays in my mind forever. You know, I might forget about it, and then all of a sudden I'll be like talking and saying, "Oh, you know, and I'll draw it."
Yeah.
And I'll draw it, and I pulled out some of my drawings and some of my past stuff. So, yeah,
Cool.
you know, so that's pretty much what I do.
You know,
have you ever
that show, The Dead Files, and where they do like the drawings, you know, that's Anthony's, those terrifying drawings of something like climbing up your wall or hanging over your bed. That's Anthony's drawings. Every once in a while you get a cute little girl, but mostly they're terrifying. And I'm like,
actually, well, that brings me to the question that I was going to ask. Have you ever started drawing something and you're like, I don't want to draw this anymore, it's too freaky?
I just recently had something like that, but I did end up drawing it, but it actually got me nauseous. Just recently we had an experience in Gettysburg of a woman in a bed that I seen that was barely abused.
in my room, in my bed.
That was in Jennie's room. She slept in that room too. And that one, everything I drew, I think that's one that got me most sickest.
Yeah.
It made me feel nauseous. And I didn't feel good afterwards. But I finished what I drew, you know.
It was bad.
You know.
It was bad.
And then, adding on to that question, do you ever get the urge to not draw?
That I don't want to draw something?
Yeah, or something telling you to not draw it?
No. Nothing really tells me not to draw it. Because I guess a lot of times, because we have cameras there and everything, so maybe he's trying to hide from being picked up on cameras, or just the audio, the EVPs, or something like that. Or if it doesn't want to be seen, maybe it won't show up on any of that. But to see it, I don't think they realize that. Some spirits do realize that you're seeing them, and they dash away, or they go somewhere else, or you shoot up, whatever they do, which I had also. But then I had spirits that just crying in the corner, or something going on, you know. And some things do interact with me also, but you know, I get scratched, pushed, bitten, and whatever. Yeah.
Speaking of which, can we talk about Gettysburg for a minute? Because I'm trying to get Andy to come to Gettysburg next year.
Oh,
it's the same. It's the week after another conference that we're trying to get him to extend his stay. Jennie actually stayed in a room in this hotel that is the most haunted part. And can you tell us what happened?
Sure.
You want me to get the drawings for that?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
I'm glad I wore long pants.
Oh God.
He's off.
It's an adventure. Me and Simonelli. It's an adventure. It was my first time at the conference, not my first time in Gettysburg. I didn't know ahead of time that the hotel was haunted. Nobody did. Except for a few people who were running the conference who decided to investigate it before we went. So who knew, right? So the first night we're sitting around the pool. It was like a courtyard, and the rooms were around it. So you had a sliding door into the pool area. So square. And they said, oh, we investigated. And in one of the rooms, there was this angry guy who was telling us to get out. You know, we got EVPs and things. And in my head, I'm going, please be my room. Please be my room. Right? Like, because that's what we do, right? I'm like, oh, please be my room. And they're like, which one's your room? I said, right next to the lifeguard sign. They're like, that's it, 158. I was like,
most wanted room in the hotel.
Wow.
yeah, right. So I was so excited, right? And I got in there and I walked in. I was like, listen, dude, you and I are going to get along great. I'm going to be a great guest. We're going to be fine. No problems. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. You know, I tend to be a little bit Pollyanna. I'll admit that. So I was like, hey, we're going to be friends. I'll be so quiet. You won't dislike me. But yeah. Turns out I had the worst nightmares of my life. Like the worst nightmare of my life. Yeah, laying in the bed that he drew. And it was terrifying. I had a dream that a man, a really big, dark man, was pulling me out of the bed, yanking my arm out of the bed, you know, trying to pull me out of the bed. And in my head, I knew if he got me out of the bed, I was going to be killed. You know, like he would beat me up or he would, whatever it was. So I had to try to stay on the bed. Like that was my, objective. So yeah, I didn't think anything of it other than I didn't sleep and I was tired and whatever the next day. The next day, Anthony put a vendor bracelet on me and he was like, what happened to your arm? And it was all bruised. And that's when we were like, oh. So of course, me being me, I was like, I did it. I was pulling my arm back, kind of thing. But then immediately Ron Iacovetti, who you know, said, he said, you don't do that in your dreams. You think you're doing that in your dreams, but you're just laying there dreaming. You know, you're not actually pulling your arm back kind of thing in the dream. You're dreaming that you're pulling the arm back, right? Yeah. Plus, I couldn't get my hand to fit. Like I had to do this or this, to get it. And Anthony walked up to me and he went, and it was perfect, like perfect. And I got kind of like shiver. I was like, oh, okay. And there was like fingerprints on my arm. Yeah. So so I had some friends of mine who are sensitive come in the afternoon. We did an EVP session and we got, and Nicole heard it right away. We got things like, get her. Yeah, really disturbing. And so we decided to do a full-on investigation that night. And Anthony wasn't there. He didn't know about it.
I wasn't there. I had to leave early. I had a family emergency, so I had to leave on that Saturday in the morning. And they did the investigation Saturday night. So I wasn't in there.
So Saturday night we did the investigation, and then when I left, they took Staticom into the room. Oh. So it was really cool. We did a full-on investigation of the room, and everything sort of corroborated it. Like we said, what's your name? And it said Daryl. It's Daryl. Okay. So later on in Staticom, for example, we would say, where's Daryl? And they wouldn't say, who's Daryl? They'd say, oh, that, I can't say it. I don't know if I can say it.
Say it.
Okay, that prick. They're like, oh, that prick, right? So not who's Daryl, but like, oh, that guy, he's over there. Yeah. Sort of thing. So it was like really getting corroborated, everything. Staticom. And then on Staticom, I hate Jennie. Like,
really?
Nobody hates Jennie.
No.
No.
Like the most hated woman in the paranormal. No. Yeah. I'm not. So yeah. I mean, so Anthony, who wasn't there, drew, I guess, pretty much what we got on Staticom and pretty much what we got in the investigation. It was pretty uncanny. So
the two psychics that she brought into the room, I guess he considers himself as sensitive. Chris Allgood and his wife. Oh wow.
Audra Keeler.
Audra Keeler. I always say her last name wrong, so I'm glad you said it. They did the thing, and they said that, and I didn't know any of this. All I seen was like clips of what they were sending me as still pictures from the room. So this is all I seen or heard. But Chris and Audrey kept on saying there's a guy in the corner, and he looks like who they say they look like, Jennie?
They said he looked like a really rough Rick Springfield back in the 80s. That he looked like he was from back in the 80s.
Yeah, and there's another guy they said it too.
The actor.
So
the Western guy.
Out of the pictures I was looking at, I seen this man in the corner, And by there, I got the name. They called him Dog Man. He was a biker-looking guy.
Ah.
My
So-
roommate.
So, and he has like tattoos and everything too. And there's like I figured there was like a dragon or a snake tattoo, and then that's what I was saying. So, I got this guy, and he was a biker. He wasn't a good guy. Dog Man is the name I got. I know. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So I showed this to Chris, and he was like, "That's who we seen." Okay. The interesting part when I said there's a snake, when Staticom was going, because Staticom was done by Tony and Sherry Rathman. They were doing it there that night. They stayed late because their flight wasn't the next day because they were going back to Arizona. And the thing came up, and it was like, they said something like, "Who's here?" And it says, "Vests and snakes."
Yeah.
Guy's wearing a vest, and there's a snake tattoo. So that was like, wow. So Chris got to see him. It came up a Staticon with that. So this is the picture that bothered me the most, a drawing, and I almost didn't draw it. Well, I had to draw it because she wanted to be known. It's a woman that I wrote down things on the side. Blonde with needle marks.
Yeah.
She's tied up in the bed. They called her Bunny Rabbit. She was like 18, 20 years old. I think she might have been a hooker or something like that.
Yeah.
And this is disturbing. So.
Yeah.
And they said she looked like a really abused Heather Locklear.
Yeah, that's funny. They did say that before you knew.
And
it looked
like I said,
better.
I didn't know any of this. I just seen still pictures of the room and what came to me there.
Can you move it over just a little bit to the middle? Yeah, there. Oh, there we go. It was just
getting
in the
reflection.
logo.
Is that good?
It was in the logo, so we couldn't see it now.
Yeah, it's all good.
So
Mhm.
the interesting thing was I slept in one area of the bed, and that's where I suppose I got the bruises. Ron keeps telling me you got them there.
I'm going to take this down now.
Yeah, no, it's upsetting to me. Yeah,
It's upsetting. This is for me to even look at it and deal with it. You know.
But then Chris Allgood said, "Sleep in the other bed tonight," and he is a really big guy, tough guy, lots of tattoos, and he was like, "Daryl, you're going to leave her alone tonight, and she's going to sleep in the other bed." But when we investigated, we found that there was a lot of residual things going on in the bed I slept in. So almost like this tape playing of her getting beat up, that we were kind of sensing and getting with the equipment, with, a whole bunch of equipment that we sort of had randomly or one at the place. Nobody brings equipment to Gettysburg. Luckily, I had a DR60. I had someone had like a K2. It was, anyway, we put it all together.
I had a whole bunch, but I took it home with me.
Yeah.
I had a ton of equipment. Nobody called me.
No, you walked me home she walked me back to my room one night.
And then she ran away.
She said, "I'll walk you back." And so she looks in and she goes, "Hey, Daryl," and she walks away. My good friend
There was a lot of alcohol involved in this.
Yeah, maybe.
You have a question? Old GG over here. He says why he thinks he picked on her is because I think because she's blonde. Maybe the girl was blonde. And she was like probably sleeping in the area where this all happened.
Yeah.
Because even Chris, I felt that because there was two beds there. I felt there was a single bed, not like a double bed there one time, like a queen bed or whatever. And she probably was in that area. Plus, he hated women. So that's why I think it was more effect attacking her than anything because she's a woman, It might not have happened if a man stayed in that room,
But I stayed in the room another 2 nights. So.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They said he was like, what do you call it? In the 70s, it was like a bikers used to go there and stuff. But you can't blame everything on bikers because maybe it was maybe just guys going now. I don't know. But there was some bad stuff that happened there. especially in that room.
Yeah.
Like she said, the reason we found out about that room, we were sitting outside, we were sitting poolside, and her room overlooked the pool, and we were sitting there. Who we were sitting there with? John Zaffis and what's his name?
Wes Coleman.
Wes Coleman was there. Steve Barry. I forgot the other guys.
Casual name dropping, guys. Casual name dropping.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, John Zapp is my best friend.
It was there. But no, I'm just saying, because we were sitting there, and the guy Eric told us that that room. He goes, "What room you're in?" He goes, she goes out, and he goes, "That's the most haunted room here." So that was pretty cool. Like she's like, "I'm in that room," like she won lotto. And I told her, "Let's put a camera in there. That's what we do." No, nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen. Boom. And then did.
And you stayed there for 3 nights.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I moved
Nice.
beds. I changed beds, and that really helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Wow.
I really think it was great deal residual, on that side. And that's what we seemed to get. Like with the K2, it would go in a pattern over and over again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was crazy. That what happened to you guys, and
Yeah, but what an adventure.
yeah.
I mean, Gettysburg, you go for the Civil War history, right? Not Daryl.
No, I go for the history of the paranormal.
Yeah.
Andy.
I go for the party.
Gettysburg is the
Yes.
place. It's like a candy store for the paranormal.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing we go for. But yeah, spirits with the spirits. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But have you ever been out doing a investigation and investigating something in particular, and then got something totally different? So say you've been doing like looking for certain like spirits or ghosts or whatever, and then you've had like a UFO encounter.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had anything like that happen?
I had.
God.
I had. And I also seen cryptics. I seen creatures, which
In
I spoke to. Huh?
In Queens?
No, I seen it out in Long Island. It was out in Long Island, okay?
Long
Oyster
Island.
Bay.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah.
Hey.
Hey. No, but it was out in Long Island. And I did see something, and I spoke to my friend that's Mufa. He's in the Mufa or whatever.
Yeah.
MUFON.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, MUFON. Yeah.
Yeah, he does, what do you call it? He goes, when there's cases, he does the investigations and interviews.
He meant it.
And then goes back to that.
Yeah.
That's what he does. And he thinks it was something that's more with alien-like than anything.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was like size of a maybe 6-year-old, but it was like all white type of, not white, like grayish. It looked like maybe a Bigfoot, but a little guy, But they're not out on Long Island, So we went to this investigation, and we're walking into the cemetery, and the cemetery is from Revolutionary War, but with black soldiers.
Right.
So they were buried separately, I guess. And we're in there, and we're walking, and rocks are being thrown at us. And it was like, what the hell? Rocks are flipping all over the place. And I was like, okay. So I'm thinking more like an imp or something like that, something.
Right.
So I'm walking and doing my thing, and all right. And, we're getting it on camera, the rocks being tossed at us. And it was a very small cemetery, and around it was all like industry, like, factories and stuff.
Yeah.
So we come walking down to like the little main road that they have there. It's dirt, walking, and we're looking up the hill, and I have my camera. I'm going like this. On my camera, the power goes off, and not only that, my light, and I have a night vision light on it, and that goes dead at the same time. I'm like, what? And then I see this thing get up and run, and I'm like, anybody got that? And everybody's like, no, it's like I was like, holy shit, what the hell is that? And I'm like, I got to see something, And then it's like, the camera's dead. Of course. I'm taking, and I also had a still camera, which I'm pulling out of my pocket and trying to take pictures, but this thing was gone, you know? And he ran like this, like a little 5-year-old would run.
Yeah.
And before the tombstone, behind the tombstone into the wooded area. So all these years later, you know, I always thought it was like, I actually drew a picture of that, but I'm not going to search for that one right now. I spoke to my friend. His name is Alan Smith. I don't know if you know him, but he told me that you know, that might be something else besides, and there was creatures that have been seen and stuff. I'm like, that's interesting, and he had me on his podcast talking about it.
Interesting.
And
so Nicole, it's a puckwudgie.
I was Jennie, you were excited because I was literally just thinking about puckwudgies.
I know.
Yeah.
I have to show it. I don't care. So
she loves that word. She'll do anything to say that word.
So this is the one out of Legacies, the vampire show from the originals in Vampire Diaries.
Okay.
So this is obviously it's not real. It's animated. It's just for the TV show.
Right.
Yeah, but you get the general how it looks. Yeah.
My puckwudgies look cute.
Yeah.
That's why I
So,
love them.
Mine look at it.
That's not cute.
No.
No.
Jennie
So
was
this-
Cute word.
at the Hinsdale house when we were out in the woods looking for puckwudgies.
We were.
There is one out there too.
In the Hinsdale woods?
Oh,
Yeah, a couple of them.
So these next two images, because they're side by side, the illustrated one is of a sighting from the 1920s that was published in a book in the 1970s, and the image of the one on the right is from a static or trail cam on a guy's property who was having stuff happening, and there's 3 images in total, but
we're still seeing the there they go.
There.
Okay.
So the one on the left is known as the Slitting Mill Troll, a place in Cannock Chase in the UK where I've been to a few times.
That's kind of what I've seen.
Yeah, and the one on the right hand side
Is known as Master Splinter.
Or Sheep Squatch, but that is from a camera or trail cam. It was Jodie Cook that sent that to me. It was on the show a few years ago. And someone from the UK over near Cannock near Lichfield had sent him then regarding like did he know what there was? Could he put anything to it? And so where the one on the right was seen is very close to where the illustration was that was seen.
Mm-hmm.
But these are like 70 years apart. But also there is a pigman sighting around the area, which has been being seen since the 70s.
You're gonna make me go get my picture, aren't you?
Yeah.
Go on.
Then.
This is the first podcast I've ever seen more of my ass than my face.
That might not be a bad thing.
See what I have to put up with all the time? No, I'm kidding.
So,
well, you know what? You got to make them turn around more on your podcast.
That's incredible. Yeah. Look at that.
So originally we got to the conclusion that this could be someone in costume.
Right.
So and we kind of like went down that path, but then because I was watching Legacies,
yes,
and then like I said, this came on, and they referred to it as a puckwudgie, and my initial thought was, oh my god, it's like that drawing, the black and white, not the other one.
Yeah.
But it come full circle because the black and white one originally was being compared to the colour picture, the colour photograph.
Interesting.
So, and we did a show just on that because of how excited I got.
Yeah.
And I'm still very.
Oh. Wait.
Yep.
I've seen
So
that.
Good?
Hold on, put it back where it was. There you go.
Right there.
Yeah, it's like.
He's literally running
Do
like
you you know
Yeah,
what?
he literally ran with his arms up like that.
A gingerbread man.
Yeah, he didn't give me no cookies.
Gingerbread man.
I love how the detail. He's amazing
Yeah.
with the like. He's amazing. He's like he ran like this, like not just he ran, but he ran like this, like amazing.
That's what really made me more amazed because he ran like a 5 or 6 year old, with
Like
their hands going up
exaggerated.
and down like that.
That's
Yeah.
fascinating.
So and
Yeah.
that's from 2016.
That's
So not
pretty
that long
cool.
ago then.
No, that wasn't that before long ago. Well, it's long enough.
Yeah.
Have you gone back there to investigate since then?
What happened was I don't know. Somebody took me there, so I don't know exactly where it is, and he passed away. The guy.
No.
Yeah, one of my friends. Another one of my friends passed away that did paranormal with me. He just passed away like a couple months ago.
Oh, it's awful, isn't it?
So,
But yeah, he took me there. It's in Ocean. I know it's in what I say, Oyster Bay somewhere.
right.
But exactly where I don't know. I guess if I did a lot of research, I could probably find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think in Long Island there'd be a lot.
Yeah, Long Island, there's all kinds of stuff going on out there. Misery Road. And I actually seen, you going on these things. Sometimes you have a little too many cocktails. You have to pull over the side of the road and water a tree.
Oh my God.
So I'm, saying hello to nature, and I see a kid.
And they'll say hello back.
And he had overalls and stuff staring at me. I'm like, who's this little pervert? And I'm looking, and he just like vanished. I'm like, holy cow.
Oh my gosh. Only Anthony. Only Anthony.
And it was right off of Misery Road. And I was told there's children that people see over there.
Black-eyed children?
Yeah, I didn't get that close to see if it was black eye, but if it was a live kid, I would have given black eyes for watching me.
Oh dear.
I mean, I've never seen anything like that, but I definitely feel like I've captured more like an elemental like type.
Yeah.
But not
Where was that?
It was in Europe. It was in France.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I am European.
Yeah,
I'm
she's a
Dutch,
traveler.
Ah.
But we don't do ghosts in the Netherlands. We're like,
No.
no.
Well,
We
Because you guys are
like
almost clear. You're all just like so white there, you can see through you.
I know.
This is-
When we take, go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was gonna say when we take a group picture, I always disappear into the background.
All right.
It's hilarious.
This is why I
I'm
was
the
saying
ghost.
the other day, you don't hear anything in like Northern or Western Europe.
No,
There's literally nothing. Is
None.
it too cold?
no. I just think it's we're very I think practical people. Like there's no time for that nonsense. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't say I agree with that. I just think that I know that everyone I know from there is including my family is like okay, nonsense.
Yeah. But it's just like because of everything that's gone up in Europe over the last 100 years, the amount of energy and emotion and everything that's gone on,
Yeah.
you think there'd be more happening, more activity, more sightings, more attachments, possessions, hitchhike, whatever there is. But you don't hear of anything. And I know people in Germany, Hungary, Norway, Sweden.
No.
And the only thing you get is like the odd UFO sighting.
Yes.
Mhm.
In like
Yeah.
Sweden, right? But not really like the Netherlands. I've never heard of anybody seeing one.
Do you think it's that
No.
people really just don't believe in it, or like it's just one of those things you don't talk about because
It's
people are gonna?
funny. I mean, I've known people who investigated there and got nothing, like nothing ever. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to figure that there's some type of spirit activity there, but
yeah. Because I mean, we investigate anywhere and usually get something. Because if you're calling it in, like even if it's not crazy activity, you usually get a little something.
But if you go online, all right, and you look at the Black Forest in Germany, and you look for anything paranormal on there is nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
I have looked.
Yeah, I have. It's not there.
Nothing. I found nothing.
I don't get it. Why is it more active in certain places than others? I get like with portals and vortexes, stargates, and all that kind of stuff, but you never hear anything. And even in like the Far East, where supposedly there is a stargate in Afghanistan, but you don't even hear of anything from over there. With all the media and all the footage, TV, and everything else, there's nothing you've seen. I know some of it's probably edited if there is stuff on there, but the amount of people that have been over there, like the English, Americans, and Europeans, and nobody's coming back with any stories.
No. I mean, you would think with all the water, that might be some type of conduit there, but no.
Yeah.
I've never had any experiences there ever.
So maybe
as opposed to here, where I have them all the time.
People that probably just maybe don't talk about it. If they do report it, it's not reported. You know, they're like, oh, I see a ghost there, and they're like, they're like, okay, we'll write it down, and it never goes anywhere. You know,
I agree with that.
That's how America was at one time. You know, there was stuff going on, but they never really talked about it. You know,
I suppose
in the 60s, that's when I started seeing things as a kid. 60s, 70s, 80s, and we weren't allowed to talk about it. And if you talked about it, people looked at you like you're crazy or you're looking for the devil.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Always demons.
Yeah. So it's like maybe that's it. Maybe because of, I don't know, maybe it's depending on the religion that's there too. Maybe they feel that if you see a spirit, it's a demon, to avoid it, you know?
That's a good point. But it's, I mean, so multicultural. You would think somebody in the Netherlands would believe this. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
And especially these days, now that everything's so much more mainstream.
Yeah, I don't hear anyone ever.
Maybe it's not as mainstream as in these countries as you think it is. Sure, you know, it might be mainstream here or some other. Maybe they don't have the same kind of shows we have in all these other countries that, you know.
Yeah, because a lot of them are limited, aren't they?
You know, that's why they might keep it quiet, because now they're still, somebody sees it, they're going to, hear us. They're going to think we're crazy, or, that house is haunted. Those people nuts. Let's get them out of here, you know?
Yeah.
So it might be a different lifestyle that they don't share. I know I just did a podcast in Japan. So I went there, I didn't go to Japan, but they interviewed me, and it was interesting because they said that they're the only two paranormal investigators in the country.
Right.
Because nobody else talks about it. And you're not supposed to talk about it. And they got so much hauntings and stuff. Because I was asking, of course, you're talking to people in Japan. You want to know about the suicide forest and stuff. They told me there was a suicide waterfalls. I'm like, what? He goes, the suicide waterfalls. When Americans came in, a lot of the Japanese didn't want the Americans to be running their country. So their families commit suicide by jumping off this waterfall. So it was like thousands of people falling off these hills, So, and they, and I was like, really? He goes, they don't talk about it. They want to believe it. So, which is, I it's like some countries don't want to.
It was interesting. That was an interesting podcast. I have a question for Nicole and Anthony about this. Sorry to take over.
That's cool.
I saw a film with Donald Sutherland, like a really scary film, and it was set in colonial times, and there was a ghost. I mean, it was like a horror film, but it was like, colonial America. I guess it seemed like it was pretty mainstream.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one that was.
Like they talked to each other like, spirit, it was like a spirit, a spirit.
Yeah. But didn't they think back then, like, there were spirits because Like back in the witch trial things, they had like, oh, your specter did this, or the specter did that.
Spirit, specter, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, they burned a lot of people for believing that too.
True.
You know, they burned them, or they crushed them with stone, or they tortured
some sort of what's the word? Oh, what's it called? Justice. Or talking about it. I'm broke. This camera's not going to last.
I'm sure.
It just what? Stop.
It's auto focusing on something else.
Yeah, it's like it keeps on going. It keeps on going in and out.
I can do the okie dokie.
There you go.
Actually, moving.
I like that.
I told him he has the spirit behind him, and that's what it keeps focusing on.
Oh boy.
It could be. Let me see.
No, I'm kidding.
I'm gonna. It's got to be that. It's that RET.
But you moved that before, and it didn't stop it.
We'll see. But just quickly going back to saying there's nothing in like the Far East. I know I was going to say, but Fire Spirit Wayne put it up. There are stories from old Russia, Afghanistan. You've got the Jinn, which is like Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
That's their version of the, I suppose, like poltergeist, but it's a physical form. Cameras imagine. Yeah. So, but there's not a lot of. It's not constant. Like you've got constant Bigfoot sightings in the US or constant ghost sightings in the UK.
Right.
Fairies, elementals, like in Ireland, Scotland, Wales.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of like fades out as you go across.
Yeah, it's true.
I guess it's depending. I mean, anywhere that's any kind of soldiers, you can see soldiers. Anywhere there's any kind of wars, any kind of people just suddenly dying, and tragically or whatever. I feel there's going to definitely be a spirit lingering around. If somebody sees it or not. If, like I said, they do, then maybe they just dismiss it.
Like Gettysburg. It's going back to Gettysburg.
So, thoughts, like, do you think that sensitivity may be hereditary, and that's why there's less sightings and stuff amongst certain groups of people?
I love this. I love this question because I always tell people they did that study on why Dutch people are the tallest people on Earth, and in the end, they checked the milk, they checked the food, they checked the water. In the end, they just married each other. In the end, they were just marrying each other. They were both tall, and they had tall kids. That was the answer.
My family, with the sensitivity, it does go back to Sicily when my family were there, and it was more with the women more than the men.
Sure.
And that's why when I started seeing stuff and experiencing, and my mother, she experienced, but the old Italians like keep your mouth shut, keep it shut. Don't tell nobody. I believe you, but don't tell nobody outside the house. And as you can see, I'm a little loud, and I can talk.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. And so when I could talk, and when I was a teenager, I started, blabbering what I seen, or getting a little. Of course, I lost friends and stuff, but it was like my mother couldn't believe how far I went. But I think also reason I got more of the stuff at birth, I was almost verge of death when I was being born because I had herniated. I have hernias. I was born with double hernias that was strangling my insides.
Oh.
They stabilized me, and then like I was 6 months old, I actually had the operation.
Yeah.
So I feel that, and also my mother said that one of my great grandmothers came over and visited me, and she had the abilities, and she put her hand on my head, and she said prayers and stuff. So my mother thought maybe something from her transferred over to me and tried to heal me, and that's why, I'm around today. But
thank goodness.
I think that because of that gives me my abilities to do what I had, what I have now. And
So
my son sees things also. My one son, I think my other son does, but he doesn't say nothing.
Yeah. So you could have had an NDE, near death experience, as you was being born.
I probably, yeah. I don't remember. I don't think I have much life to look back on at that time.
So I spoke to a few people about that. I've interviewed them, and they said since that happened, their life has completely changed. They're more open, they're seeing things, they're noticing stuff more, they're hearing stuff, smell, everything's heightened.
Yes.
Wow.
That's
interesting.
It's a possibility. That's what happened to me. Because I spoke to people like that too, and had near death. My friend Joey ended up passing away, but he almost died like 2 or 3 times in his life.
Wow.
And he actually was brought back those two times before, and he said that he experienced more stuff afterwards also.
Yeah, because I suppose you're getting a look or a taste into what there is after. So I'm guessing once you've seen it, whether you remember it or not, or if it's subconsciously, you've still got that memory.
Yeah.
Regardless. So it's there somewhere.
So someone could lead you back to it, like a hypnotist or something.
Yeah. Like regression or
that'd be
just anything. Or just you could be out doing something and something triggers it, and you're like, wow.
I mean, maybe it triggered like a past life experience too. Maybe that's when I was being born. Because there's things I know as getting older, through my life, which I like. How do I know that? Like medical stuff. How to turn tourniquets and stuff like that. Later on, I actually I went through an apprenticeship, which I started the course with what do you call it, first aid and stuff like that. And when they were teaching the class, it's like I already knew how to do it. And how did I know this? So maybe in a past life, might have been something with that. It's like a lot of things. Like, how do I know that?
Right.
So,
Right. Interesting.
You just know that you know.
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't know that you know it until something triggers it, and you're like,
yes.
Oh wait.
Right.
Yeah. I was on a job, and a guy got hurt really bad, and he sliced his arm, and I knew what to do. I put rubber gloves on, and I got the first aid kit, and I wrapped him up, and I was holding my hand on it. I'm like, how do I know? And I even got blood on me, and I'm holding his arm so he stopped bleeding. And to the ambulance got there, and it's like, how? Then they asked me, how did you know that? I'm like, I don't know. And I said, glad you jumped in.
Something happens. We're getting Anthony.
Yeah, I know. I mean, so you're saying it's beyond like just good instinct?
Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes. ESP.
I mean, maybe. As a kid, I watched show with that ESP, and I was like, I want to see if I have that. And there was something under the couch, and I rolled on the couch, and I didn't have no idea what it was. So I said, I'm going to concentrate, close my eyes, and I see it in my head where it was under the couch. I put my hand there, it was right there.
A Snickers bar.
Yeah. Yeah. But some things like that, it's like I have no idea how I know these things.
That's so cool.
And it just comes to me.
That's really cool.
Going
back to, I'm sorry, I was going to say you asked a question about the genetic thing. I would say, even if it is, I got to think most of it has to do with your family being open to it. If you're going to close off to it young because, you're in an environment where it's completely closed off, it's going to take a lot to get you back out of it, I think.
Yeah,
that's true.
Whereas Anthony was told, even though we don't talk about it, we totally believe you.
Yeah.
And some people get encouraged. I think that's got to make 90% of the difference.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Because some people are like, no, that's not real. No, you don't see that. Like, you're just imagining it. So you tell yourself you're imagining it, and you kind of shut that part of you off.
Exactly. Yeah. It would be interesting to do a study, in genetics, but that's quite the big study.
Well, a lot of people I know that have the ability, the real ability, not somebody that all of a sudden in their 50s, now I'm a psychic, and they, run around charging people phenomenal prices, and they're just reading people's facial, whatever they're reading. I'm talking about real psychics that their family, every real psychic I know, their mother had it or somebody in their family had it, and it went down generation to generation.
Really?
Their abilities.
Yeah, because that goes back to then the bloodline, and that's why they trick. That's why certain bloodlines are tracked. Should we say?
Tracked.
Yeah.
So
So
you mean abductions and everything?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
okay.
Whoever they are, keep watch of particular bloodlines.
Yes.
And if you trace it back like generations, you'll see there's like an ongoing pattern of some sort.
Interesting.
I'm not saying it's that all the time, but it is known.
Yeah, I know they say people, because I have AB negative, and people with negative blood is a lot of times more attracted to them.
All of us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you open AB negative?
I'm A negative.
I'm
They're all
negative.
negative.
I had to take that shot when I was
Me
pregnant.
too. That big shot.
Yeah.
Oh, I had when I had my hernia operation, we had to check. I asked him what my blood type was in case I needed a blood transfer during the op. And he goes, AB negative. Because in the UK, yet again, if you want to know your blood type, you have to pay.
No way.
To find out, unless you are A, pregnant, or B, giving blood.
Right. That's how I found out, I think, giving blood. But
yeah, I got it. I was donating blood when I got it.
Yeah, I mean,
but there is a very rare blood type called the R blood. I think R negative. And
rhesus negative.
I think it's there. I think it's from aliens.
Rhesus negative. My mum was rhesus negative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
So they think it's like a positive, something from another planet.
Yeah. So that's why I think that's where the negative comes from on the AB.
And I just searched it. Only about 1.5% of our donor population are Rh negative. So that's from like blood donors when they're testing.
That's so little.
That's
nothing.
Is it weird that so many people in the paranormal field have Rh negative blood?
No, that's a study we could do.
Yes, we can do that. We're just going to walk up to everybody we meet. What's your blood type?
Hi, what's your blood type?
I don't know. Okay, we're going to take a sample.
Come on, let's go. Don't worry.
Don't
worry, I got a pin.
Don't worry, Anthony can do a tourniquet.
Yeah, I know how to tie you up.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'll stop your blood. Here, give me a finger.
I mean, I get that. I'm not sensitive, but I've had moments like that where one time I was about to brush my teeth and I was looking for a powder.
Oh.
They used to use tooth powder, remember? Like, I didn't think of it at the time. I'm like, why am I looking to put powder on my toothbrush? And then later on I went, oh my gosh, they used to use like tooth powder. But, I was in the zone, you're getting ready. I wasn't thinking about it, whatever. That's pretty fascinating, right?
That is. Yeah. And
I had used it before, which I never would even have seen it.
Somebody just said O negative is what was that? Most abductees are O positive.
Right.
Yeah, but then Oxport, maybe because there's more of them than Rh negative, and you could look at the aspect ratio of it all. Mm-hmm. If you worked out the percentage of Rh negative to O positive, how many more of them there are, then you can work out the percentage. And I think it may come up Rh negative would work out a higher percentage as like a mean.
Right.
Okay.
Something like that. I can read math.
We got truth there. Check.
It makes sense.
So,
it makes sense.
Thank you for that.
I mean, but like Nicole, do you come from a family of sensitives?
I don't think so. I mean, not
Me
that
neither.
anybody has been willing to admit anyway.
Okay.
No,
And
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't.
At all.
I've got a big family, and probably 4, 5. So my mum, there was 10 brothers and sisters in total. There's 10 of them in total.
Ooh.
So I've got, I think, 32 cousins, and now they're all married, and then they're having kids, and so on and so on. And there's only 1, 2, 3, 4. I know one of them 5 because we had an encounter when we was at the same place at the same time. 6 of my cousins. Oh, that's including my brother. So 5 cousins and my brother. I know I've had some sort of encounter.
Oh.
Out of.
See, my family is weird because, like, my grandmother always growing up, like, her house was haunted. She would tell us, "Oh, that's just Charlie," like when you'd hear
Oh.
something. But then at the same time, she tells me, "Ghosts don't exist. There's no such thing." I'm like, I feel like I'm being
Which
gaslit.
one is it?
Yeah.
But was that to stop you from getting frightened?
Yeah, maybe.
Could be.
I don't know, but it was Charlie, and he choked on the chicken bone, and you could hear him coughing.
Oh my gosh.
That was his story. That was what happened.
Wasn't Charlie maybe a dog?
No, Charlie was a human.
Wow.
You-
That's
okay.
specific.
He wasn't a pet.
Not a human dog?
No,
Human
not
dog.
a dog
Just
man
checking, just checking.
that I know
A
of.
human dog vampire.
Yeah. Imagine that. Vampire werewolf.
Called
I
him, yeah,
do
werewolf.
imagine that because I watch your show. Now I imagine all that stuff.
Her fault. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So, moving from spirits and ghosts and talk about like what we just dipped into, what's your thoughts on cryptids? Whether it's Bigfoot, as I said before, the Putwadgie, Dogman, Mothman, lizard people, reptilians, anything.
They got so many.
I know I'm like the worst person to ask this, but I mean, I live in New Jersey with a Jersey Devil, right?
Yeah.
Jersey Devil. I mean, if you
Yeah,
go
most
back
of them
to
live in Jersey, them cryptics, aren't they? They do them out of
Sorry?
Queens.
I love how he calls them cryptics.
That's what I say. Yeah,
Cryptids. He
That's
knows
what I said.
cryptids.
That's what I
He's like,
said.
that's what I said. Yeah.
That's what I said.
I think it's kind of cute because that would be a cool name.
The
Cryptid.
cryptic.
They all moved out of New York and they all went to Jersey.
There you go.
I mean, I think a lot about those, people back then seeing something on the roof like that, like and being, terrified.
Yeah.
So I'm not that skeptical of it. I think it's possible. I have a problem with like things that have never been seen or documented. It's like in this day and age, really. But, like you say, you've seen an alien, you see a vessel, right? Like we can document that, right?
Yeah.
Like you have a picture, a drawing of that Pukwudgie. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
But it's the ones that like no one's ever seen. It's like, okay, I'll hold out on that until someone has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, with you saying that, sorry, just quickly, it's like when I just pictured mermaids for that reason, because there is no actual, or as far as we know, there's no actual evidence of it. But you'll see these videos or photographs and everything. Oh, it's fake. How do you know it's fake? These people straight away, it's fake, it's CGI. And a lot of people don't understand how difficult it is to make a video. I know you can use apps to add stuff onto it, but to make it look genuine is the most difficult thing in the world. I don't care what anyone says. I know, because they're great videos. And the software that you have to get to do that costs hundreds, if not thousands.
Right.
And if you're just making one video, unless you're a millionaire, it ain't worth it. It's not worth the money to do it. Yes.
That's so funny that you said that, because I was going to say my phrase is, "You're not worth it. It's not worth it."
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
I tell people who say that they have like 16 demons in their home and they're possessed. And I'm like, I tell them, you're not worth it. You're not that bad. You know, like you're not worth it. And I mean that as a comfort. You know, like you're just not worth that. In a good way, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
I know, like the manatee looks very much like it. I know that whole
the whole thing with the mermaid and stuff like that.
I mean, because it looks like a living creature that moves fluidly like a living creature.
But then it's like
very hard.
Sorry, go on.
Real. No, I
But
agree.
then when you've got the other ones where it's a mermaid type thing and it's sat on a rock, then it jumps in the water and people go, "Oh no, it's too animated." But how do you know? Because you've never seen what a mermaid does in real life.
That's what I'm trying to say exactly. If you've never seen it, I have a problem with people
can
saying,
you-
"Oh, it must be a mermaid."
You can't say it is or it isn't. You have your own opinion, but it's the people that go, "No, it's not a mermaid because of this, and this."
Like, how would you know?
When was the last time you examined a mermaid? Oh, that was it. Never.
Yes, you very eloquently said what I was trying to say in the beginning. It's the people who see it say, "Oh, it's a mermaid," but they've never seen a mermaid. How would you know?
Yeah.
You can't say it's not if you can't tell me what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's like, I'm going to go back to this because I don't care. It's like someone in the suit.
I hate that picture.
I know, I'm going to have nightmares again.
But how do you know that someone in the suit? Was it you dressed up? Did you take the photographs?
Maybe it was, Andy. How do you know? Maybe it was me.
Was it you?
It was.
Is that a still shot? Is that a still shot, or was it actually on a trail cam? Has video?
No, this was a still shot.
A series.
It takes so many frames. Yeah.
And I don't know why we don't have the others.
I would have a problem with those calves like being human. They don't look human, and that the way that an animal stands on its toes, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I just
there's
think
too
no
much
human
definition.
being can walk like that.
Fire Spirit says he's wearing Doc Martens.
I mean, look at that hand.
It more has, to me, it has like a dog face.
Yeah.
Or a bear. Yeah.
Like a dog hand kind of thing.
Some kind of canine.
But the legs. That's what gets me.
Yeah, and you can't see the top of the leg because of the shadow. So it is difficult to tell. It could just be a model that someone's created and put there.
It could be something like a Halloween thing that people put on their lawn. But you said it has frames that it's moving. It's per frame. So I mean,
I'll tell you what, if I see that thing walking, I'm impressed.
Yeah. You know how long I tried to find, like, I searched like Bigfoot costumes, Dogman costumes, like I'm trying to find a match so that I can disprove it.
Yeah, but that could be a homemade costume also.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be off a movie set, it could be off for anything.
Yeah.
But for what we do as paranormal investigators, for us to tell people that, they could tell you the same thing. So you got to be open. You can't put down people's stuff.
I agree.
Because what we're doing is crazy to other people,
Yeah.
So you say, you stay interested. You might have your little conversation amongst friends, but that person, they believe they got something, and you guys think they got something. Okay, you got something.
Yeah. I agree with that. And Nicole and I talk about that a lot. If someone believes fervently what they're saying, then I believe it. I believe it because it's their reality.
I won't believe it myself, but I'll believe you if you tell me you saw something. But if I saw it, I'm like, no, that's not what I saw.
Yeah, you always try and debunk it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do that a lot, Nicole and I.
I mean, which is a lot of times hard. Now with this AI, everything's going to be, you got to watch what you do and put out there, and because AI is really where I could sit and put my face over some actor's, have an actor talk with my voice or my voice with the actor's voice or stuff like that, and these people that they look real, you know, and that's only get better and better and better to one day,
right?
You know.
Right. Can you see Anthony like on Marlon Brando?
Yeah.
Like, making us an offer we can't refuse.
Head on some actor's body.
You can't refuse.
He's like, take the gun, leave the cannoli.
Oh, no, take the gun. No. Leave the gun, take the cannolis.
No, but you're like, leave the cannoli because you want the cannoli.
No, we're going to eat the cannolis. I'm taking the cannoli.
Everybody.
I need the cannoli. I had one when I was in Boston. I should have bought 10.
I know.
Yeah, one cannoli.
So
that's like an hors d'oeuvre.
It was like that.
Good stuff.
It was from Mikey's. It was massive.
Oh my god! You want to see massive? I'll have to send you a picture, Andy.
I know what you're going to say.
When we went, where were we, Anthony?
The Stromboli. The Stromboli.
Yeah, we're White Hill Mansion. They had
going to Burlington
Paracon.
Yeah.
And then we went out for out to dinner afterwards, and I asked for a medium Stromboli. Holy cow! The thing came out like big.
Wow.
I'm like, and they put a pizza tray, you know, the pizza thing on it,
yeah,
and it was like, and it was flipping off of that. And I'm like, what is this? And he goes, you asked for a medium. I said, what the hell's a large? The size of this table? That's a medium.
My whole family.
Oh my god!
It was this.
That's what I said. Is that for one person? They said, yeah. Yeah, they need the size of me. They said, yeah, that's for you.
Oh, stop it. It was funny. We have pictures. We'll send them. It's pretty funny.
Yes, please do.
Can we
The
talk
giant Stromboli.
before we wrap about the Seekers Chronicles?
5 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jen.
Me?
You're better. Yeah, you're better at
Okay.
that.
Yeah. So are we doing a shameless plug? Tuesday nights. Okay. Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. It's Kimberly Geyer, the Ghost History Medium, Anthony Simonelli, and I. We have a podcast called Seekers Chronicles Paranormal Historians. And we have different guests every week and we focus on a different location and do a deep dive into the history of the location. Look at some evidence, but it's very history focused.
Yeah. And we usually have a guest from the location to talk about history also. We show pictures. We also people investigate. Nicole's been on the show already.
Yeah.
And so it's very interesting and we make it fun too.
Yeah, that's right.
We have to make it fun.
Right. We relate the history to the evidence that we get.
That's another one where 2 hours goes like that.
Oh,
yeah.
It feels so quick.
It does.
Sometimes I don't have enough time to show all the evidence.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's on YouTube, 8 p.m. Tuesdays, and we are on episode 6. It's just started.
It's on ERRT Radio.
Thank you.
It's a YouTube channel, and you can check us out. That's where we are. We also on the Seekers Club and Paranormal YouTube, which I see you have it up there. Also, Seekers Chronicles. Also, I have it on Seekers Club of the Paranormal YouTube. I have it on Seekers Chronicles of the Paranormal Historian. I also got it on mine, Anthony Simonelli. So
excellent.
I have it on all three things besides that. Are you okay there?
Yes. No, I'm getting bum ache.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's all right. Only 18 hours to go.
You got to give Nicole, you got to give him some of your energy drinks. Nicole introduced me to energy drinks.
Yeah, I got her hooked on Celsius.
I got you hooked on Red Bull.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's even better.
Good stuff.
That's good energy drink.
I have a whole bar down here.
My God. What is wrong with you?
Whoa.
No.
I'm not
This
even,
is
look at us, not looking surprised at all.
No.
We're like, yeah.
But I'm on the coffee pods. Caramel latte.
That's good.
That'll keep me going.
Oh, I got my Forget About Me coffee.
Oh, forget about it coffee.
Forget About Me coffee from Brooklyn. Yeah.
Anthony is otherwise known as Mr. Forget About It.
Yeah. Mr. Forget
So
About
he got
It.
Jennie a matching shirt.
I
Forget
did.
About It.
Yes. I was trying to read what he said, but I couldn't.
It says forget about it, and I wear mine, and everybody looks at me like, really?
That's where they say it in Queens and Brooklyn.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
way of saying it. It's not
I don't-
forget about it.
Yeah,
No,
I can't do
forget
it.
about it.
Forget about
For
it.
me. Do I look Italian?
Don't. I'm not doing it.
Andy,
Come on,
do
you
it.
say. Come on, say it.
Either.
No.
Come
No.
on,
It's
bullshit.
awful.
You
No.
and Nicole Chivatonni.
Shavanti.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
Right.
why have you lot got all fancy names, all ending in I?
I married an Italian.
Italian. All paisans here. Well, she married into it. Hey, look, you got a thumbs up on your head.
Oh gosh.
Hudson does that every so often.
Last
Are
time
you
I was
on-
on a podcast, I had fireworks. I
Yeah.
didn't do any.
Oh.
How does that happen?
Do that. Do that. Ready?
Oh, rain.
Why
Then
not
do-
have rain? Why is
do
Jennie
that.
the only one that gets?
She's using
on,
the right
I
pad.
know, but why last
Apple,
time did I
Apple.
get fireworks? What did I do?
There you go.
Hello, you got hearts.
Oh,
What it works
I
Oh,
for.
wow.
I think if you wave, you get balloons.
Now,
Wave.
how did I get fireworks? I said something
I-
like, wow, yay.
Yeah, you went and you put your head back. Wow, maybe.
I was like, yay, and fireworks.
Wait,
Ah,
see if you get
Yeah.
balloons. No,
no.
balloons that time.
Are you
We
on
can do
your
this all
iPad?
night.
Yeah.
No,
She
I'm
is.
on my
Yeah.
laptop.
Yeah, if you do it on an iPad, that's where you get all the reactions.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, she's on her iPad.
Wait, quick question. Are you left-handed, Andy?
Right.
Right, okay. We're doing another survey with the paranormal.
Yeah, another survey. I'm a lefty.
Me too. We seem like there's a lot.
Righty.
Yeah.
This is why me
Have
and
you
Jennie have
noticed
to
that?
be next to each other when we go out to eat because we're lefties.
Well, like it seems like half the table is left-handed, and that's not right.
But
My wife's
When I
left-handed. So all the women left-handed and the guys all right-handed. What?
when I eat, I can eat left-handed or right-handed.
Okay, me too.
It just
'Cause I eat
depends
with
how
both
quick
hands.
the knife is. Yeah, yeah.
Because my grandmother tried to train me out of being left-handed so I can do anything with
Oh.
either.
I did that with my son. My eldest, he's 30. He started when he started drawing and writing. He picking a pen and pencil up with his left hand. I'm like, no. And within
Why?
within
I
3
think-
weeks, I got him into his right hand.
He might end up
Is
like us.
his handwriting terrible?
Sorry,
Is his handwriting terrible?
it would have been, but it's not.
Oh,
not now. Because I
I
have
All right.
don't know if I have terrible handwriting.
No. Do you know what? I don't know because he only have a text, so I couldn't tell you.
Wow, old school. Tying his hand
Yeah.
behind his back.
Did
Wow.
you hit him with a ruler too?
I'd lock him in the cupboard till he started crying. Then
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You're not coming
I went to
out.
Catholic
Nothing
school. You had to be
put
right-handed or you were
right
wrong. If you were
Yeah.
right-handed, you were going for the devil hand.
Oh, maybe that's why
Yeah.
we're left-handed.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
we're
maybe.
demons.
Yeah.
Witches.
We're
Witches.
witches.
Yeah, witches. That's us.
That's it.
Left-handed witches.
Right.
Well, This was
We are
so
gonna
much
have-
fun. Thank you so
I know.
much.
You guys need to come on again.
Yeah.
We would love
We
to.
You
love
definitely
to.
need to come on
Yeah,
again.
and bring Jen with you next time and have the whole Seekers Chronicles.
She's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. All of us. And
Yeah, yeah,
I hope the people in the audience checks us out also.
Yeah.
they will. We'll make
They will.
them. We'll
Yeah.
lock them in
Tuesday night.
cupboards
He'll
till
lock
they
them in the
watch.
cupboard.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Tuesday nights we were going on at 8. What time we go? 8 o'clock.
Oh, it's gonna be like
8 to 10. So that's kind of late for you guys.
That's
Yeah.
1 a.m. 1, 2, 3.
Well, we had
That's
Penny Morgan come
Not
on.
too
That
bad.
time.
Yeah.
She's from UK.
Well, there we go.
Oh, Fire Spirit Club Drive.
thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you, Fire
Cheers,
Spirit.
Wayne and Joanne.
And
Thank you.
Joanne.
Thank you, Joanne.
See,
Guys,
these are loyal to the bone.
they
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
love it.
We have the best
Okay.
viewers.
And
Well-
have you know they're all members, paying members as well. They're all lit up in green. And they're the best.
Oh, of course.
They really are.
So-
They are.
So, Andy, I'll see you in Gettysburg.
You will.
Yes.
I'll be there. I'm
We
gonna
can
start
meet
saving.
This
I
story
asked for
is
that room
Yeah.
again.
And we're going to stick you in that room for the night.
I did. I requested
That's
it.
fine.
Ah.
I will cry. You know I will cry.
Jenny requested that room for the night.
I'll hold your hand.
No.
from the other
Oh.
bed because Jenny's
Yeah.
not going in that one again. You can have the
I was
haunted
like,
bed.
I'm freaking
You get the
tired,
haunted
Daryl,
bed.
so leave me alone.
We'll put a blonde wig on you. See what happens.
Yeah.
I've got one.
I'll just do it
It's
again.
all good.
We don't need to talk about that right now.
No.
He
Right.
does. He has
So
ABBA.
I do.
Andy really likes ABBA.
But I look like
doesn't?
Chris Hemsworth when he plays Thor. When I put it on. I think I do anyway.
Yeah.
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 So next time I'll wear it. And I've even got the Thor hammer somewhere. You can
I
just
love
see.
Oh, hammer.
Oh,
Well,
around there
Nicole and I
somewhere.
both like to dress up, so we'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
Right. So
Thank
we're going to
you.
end this. Thank you for coming on.
What a pleasure.
Absolute pleasure. I loved it. So much fun. So
Fun.
we're going to end this one now and we're going to jump on to part 3 because our next guest is going to be waiting for us.
Okay.
Yes, we
And
are.
we don't know. Oh, no. No, they're coming on here.
No, okay, no part.
No,
We don't know who
we're
they
not
are.
jumping to part 3. We've still got.
We have one more.
It's 10 p.m.
Oh,
We've got one more.
okay.
Should be on.
Yeah,
Should be
we
on
have a
now.
mystery guest coming next.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you guys
Well-
can stand if you want, and we can recite the alphabet or anything.
Do you know the new alphabet? Have you heard of this?
New alphabet.
We have a guest.
What?
I've got it right.
Oh,
I've got it
yeah.
right. We did predictions.
Yeah,
We
we
did
had
pre-
mystery guests. So we don't know. We guessed in the beginning who the
Okay,
mystery
cool.
guest would be. Just see if we got them
And?
right.
And I got this
Okay.
one.
Got one right.
Mystery guest.
I love it. That's a good idea.
So-
We should have a mystery guest.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess
Yeah.
good morning, not good night.
Good
Oh,
night for us.
yay. Thank you. And we have.
Oh, there's 2 mystery guests.
Yes, that's. Oh my God.
Enjoy.
All right, thank
Enjoy.
you guys.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you
night.
both so much.
Yeah.
And I will meet up with you in a few months when I go to Gettysburg.
Excellent.
100%.
All right. Good night.
So,
Did it.
thank
See
you.
you later.
Good
See you
night.
soon. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Oh, I gotta get off.
It's all right. I can beat you. That was so good. And we have one of the most amazing people ever. He's just so cool and so much fun. It's like Christmas and birthdays and everything just all in one night. It's
It's
just
why
wicked.
Tommy's
This.
going to come on because it's like a birthday.
Yes, Tommy might not be able to come on, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. He's not at party. So I'm going to bring the next guest on now because he's absolutely fantastic. I love this guy to bits. And he's probably wrote about another 30 books since we spoke to him last. So I'm going to bring him on. The one and only Preston Dennett. Hello.
Hey. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, let me unmute you.
Sorry, that was
There you
my fault.
Oh,
Hey.
welcome on board.
Thank you. Good to see you, Andy.
You
Nicole.
too, mate. How's it going?
Not bad. You know, I'm surviving. It's a crazy
Yeah.
world, but I'm doing pretty good.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
How many books?
I'm actually beginning to lose count myself. It's 32 or 33.
That's
Right, I
so
think you was on 20, 28, 29 last time we spoke. I know it wasn't in the 30s.
Really?
Oh my,
Wow.
you've been bit, and it wasn't. When did we do? You came on the 10-hour one, didn't you?
I did. Yep.
Yeah, and that was in March. So it's like 7 months ago.
I can tell you.
Wow. So how are you? And it's wonderful to see you again.
Yeah, I am keeping busy, working on my next book, Symmetry 2, all
Yep.
about Dolly Safran and her amazing experiences.
Yes, and I just want to say a massive thank you to Dolly because she just signed up to membership on the Ghost Theatre. So thank you, Dolly, for being in chat and coming on. So it's all good. So So for those who don't know, can you explain to everyone who Dolly is and how you know each other?
Yeah, I know Dolly because the ETs actually recommended me to her. No kidding. She reached out to me. It's very cool. Someone told me this once. I didn't really believe it. But Dolly has had very extensive experiences, and she reached out to me over the internet, and I started interviewing her, and it was obvious to me that her experiences were genuine. But they were a lot more extensive than I thought. And it took her a while for her to tell me that she had been looking for someone to help her go tell her story publicly, and wasn't happy with who she was finding. Because, there's a lot of researchers out there who are, in quotes, researchers.
Yeah.
Some didn't respond, and some were just clearly not a good fit. And she was a little bit frustrated. And so she's actually on board the craft and starts telling them, like, listen, I'm not having a good time with this. I'm not finding anybody. And Talata, her main contact, the fifth dimensional entity who actually embodies the craft, these craft are alive, by the way, she tells her, here's someone we think you should take a look at. Get it? They actually had her write it down, my name, which is beyond crazy when you think about it. I'm like, wait, what? She told me this.
I know I've asked you before, but that must have freaked you out. For them to know who you are and what you're doing is like.
By this point, I kind of knew they were aware of me. I've had enough sightings. I've had missing time, so I knew that there was something going on there, but not to that extent. I mean, to think that they're reading my books, watching my videos. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
You think about like an ET reading your book. Like, how do they would read it? Like, do they put their hand on it and just like absorb the info? But like,
they're telepathic. I'm pretty sure they can pick it up as I'm writing it down.
They're probably stood behind you while you're writing it, like watching what you're writing.
Like, no, you got that part wrong. Fix it.
It's funny. I did talk to one guy who's a contactee. He must have been 6.5 feet tall, looks like an alien, white blonde hair, big eyes, an amazing guy. He was on Star Trek. He played a Romulan or something, a Vulcan.
Oh, wow.
He's an actor and a musician. He's in one of my books. At any rate, he's like, the ETs like your style. And I kind of looked at him like, what? It's like, no. You tell the facts. You're not sensationalizing. You're just laying it out as it is. And that was actually probably the first time I started to really wonder, maybe they are aware of me.
Yeah.
They're aware of all of us. They're watching the show. They are, Andy.
Oh no, yeah. Yeah. If you are watching, you can come in and join the chat and even join the membership if required.
Please.
Yes. So
they're aware of everything, that we're doing here. They're kind of keeping an eye on things.
Yeah, of course they are.
Anything involving them, you bet.
Yeah. So do you think they're happy with us doing what we do? Like spreading the word, talking about it, giving them, I suppose, coverage?
Do I think what?
Do you think they're happy with the positive? They find it positive and it's not a negative impact on them?
Yeah, 100%. I think they have many goals that they're trying to achieve by visiting us. But one is absolutely a publicity campaign. And
what do you think their other goals are?
I think there's a bunch of them. One is definitely all about healing, because this is a very, very common feature of onboard experiences. People are taken up and examined, and this is really scary for people. And this is where a lot of people get trauma and fear and interpret it as a negative experience, when in fact, it's a checkup, essentially. And often they will heal people. The statistics are a little uncertain. In my own files, it's easily 25, 30, 40%. MUFON found about 10%. The Freeze study found 50%, which is what Edith Fiore another researcher found. But absolutely, healing is one of them. I wrote a book about it, Healing Power of UFOs. I got cases from pretty much every country on this planet.
Wow.
Most major researchers. I'm not going to say every country. I'm not sure. What do we have, like 200, 300 countries?
I did. Sorry, I got one of your books. I can't speak tonight. Sorry. Extraterrestrial Visitations. So I got it on Audible only because I'm too lazy to sit down and read. It's easier for me to listen to it. You know that I drive for a living, so it's just every single bit. It's like, because I've got quite a few on Audible, and you hear something, and not so much it triggers it, but it gives you the realization of what is really going on and what we're not being told about. It's like whether it's being deliberately hidden from us, or they're just like, yeah, we don't want to share it just yet. But like guys like Preston and Barry Fitzgerald, Paul Sinclair, that are writing the books, Albert Rosales, and they're putting the information out there. And some of them do, I'm not saying they are, but they might come across as like sci-fi, very far-fetched, and like, oh, that's impossible, that couldn't happen. But it is happening, it's happening to everyone. This is what I was saying before with the previous guest. You don't get a lot of like ghost phenomena in Europe and that, or cryptids, what have you. But these UFO and alien encounters worldwide, that seems to be the biggest pattern with the UFOs. It's happening everywhere, every little town, every country, every state, every city, middle of nowhere, out in middle of New York, wherever. And it's constant. There's no...
In fact, I just did a whole series on my YouTube channel to prove this. Because I'm like, hey, anyone who's listening, name your hometown. I bet you I can find a case there.
Yeah.
And I started getting a huge response. I've got a list of 600 locations. Anyone listening who's provided a location, please be patient because it takes a lot of research. And people are providing some really obscure towns. But I've gone through 40 plus locations. I've done 5 episodes on this. Found cases in every single one. There was one town in Texas I'd never heard of before. It's small, but I found like 4 or 5 cases there. There's some I've only found a few, but
still, any case is crazy when you're thinking of these random locations that nobody's ever heard of.
I'm telling you, name a town, I can find a case there. I was looking at the databases because we have here in the U.S. MUFON and New Fork. They're the biggest ones, Mutual UFO Network and the National UFO Reporting Center. There's a bunch of them. But this is worldwide. And New Fork and MUFON have, I think it's 250,000 documented reports. So it's well over 1 million. I mean, worldwide, it's well over 1 million. And I'll be really generous and say, 1 in 10 people might report it. That's being very generous. It's probably closer to 1 in 100. So I don't know.
Yeah, because it's like the UFO sightings that I've had. It's like it happened, and then I either just carried on doing what I was doing and didn't think about it again for years, never felt the need. And this has come up not just with the UFOs, but other paranormal stuff. I never felt the need or the urge to have to tell anyone. It just, that happened.
Yeah.
It's just another day. Yeah.
If some of these other sightings would have been big sightings, like, the lights over Phoenix, that kind of thing. If somebody had just spoken up, because once one person says it, then they're like, oh, I saw this too. Hey, I saw this too. I actually have a video of this. But if nobody starts the ball rolling, then you'll never hear about it.
There's a whole snowball effect, and suddenly an area that is not known for sightings becomes a hotspot because one brave person decided to come forward. Which is why I always encourage people to come forward. And a lot of these UFO reporting centers just kind of take your report and it goes in their files and it's done. But it's still important. This is a piece of the puzzle. Each case has unique elements to it. And I think
So I've got a question for you. I don't know if I've asked you this before. I know this question has been asked. I don't know if I asked you if you was on Truth Proof with Paul Sinclair, but the Roswell incident, do you think that was not staged, but it was done on purpose to bring our attention to what was going on, to get people to start talking about it? Because it seemed to be from like the Roswell in 1947, and then from then on, it was up like to how it is now. Was that like the start of the gear turning?
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and that's a theory that some people have raised, that ETs have sort of gifted these craft or intentionally left them there.
Yeah.
And my answer, based on from what I've been able to learn from contactees like Dolly Safran, who actually asked about this, asked them directly. They said, yes, this did happen. No, we do not give craft away. But here's the thing. If one crashes and then the military is all over it, and they're, there's 100 men or women there working on it, they're not going to come down and, cause a bigger ruckus by trying to get it back. Some things are like, well, this happened. We're going with the flow. The universe meant it to be this way. Yeah. But generally, no, they'll scoop it up. They'll take all efforts they can to retrieve their craft, just as we would.
No, yeah.
I would just liken it to if a plane crashed into a foreign country and their government started scooping it up. We're not going to go and cause a war to just try to get our plane back. What I mean?
Yeah.
But absolutely, Roswell did happen. I'm 100% convinced. I've talked to some of the researchers, like Don Schmidt. He's amazing. There's no doubt in my mind it happened, and it's just one of many, many, many cases like it. It's far more common, I think, these things than.
Yeah. Do you believe that they were in contact with the government then after Roswell?
The ETs to a certain extent. Yeah, I think that there were efforts to communicate with world leaders. No doubt about that. I mean, you can point to several cases. The big one is, of course, the 1954 February meeting at Edwards Air Force Base with Eisenhower, supposedly lots of world leaders. Well, not world leaders, but leaders in business and politics and science were all there.
Yeah.
And if you look into the reporting on that, it's pretty darn convincing. I don't think we traded technology. ETs are not going to give technology in exchange for, quote, abductions. That, I think, is misinformation or disinformation.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like they're going to do what they're going to do anyway. Like, you couldn't really stop them if they wanted to abduct people. It's not like they needed permission.
Exactly. And no, they're not going to hand over technology to governments that are, frankly, evil. I mean, in a word, but let me put it more nicely. Abuse technology.
Yeah. Use it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, because there are good people in government. So I'm sorry to all folks in government who are trying to do a good thing, but
I can't believe that. Sorry.
I mean, I blame the intelligence agencies, the highest levels of the military, who knowingly covered this subject up, knowing it's real, and put forth a campaign to explain away all encounters, all of them, underlined as hoaxes, hallucinations, misperceptions, or mental illness. And they knew full well it's real. So that's so disingenuous. And we're not having disclosure even now.
They're the OG gaslighters. Like, no, you're not seeing that. You're crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're clearly mentally ill, or you're on drugs, or you're stupid, or you're lying.
All of the above. But sorry, the question's gone. I do apologize. I'll try and remember it.
From Blue Shift.
Hey, Blue Shift. Hey, Rob.
Big event is due soon, and this is why the UFO topic is now being addressed. If so, what do you think this event might be?
Well, the future always brings big events, so I have no doubt something's coming down the pike. I think a lot of the reasons we're seeing steps towards disclosure is because our governments are becoming irrelevant with this subject, not credible. If they don't start admitting to the truth of this, they're going to look like idiots. they're going to look like liars. They're on drugs. I mean, honestly, tables turned. Ha ha. Because now there's just too much evidence. There's an army of researchers out there, millions of people who've had contact. They have to say something if they want to have any control over the narrative. As far as big events coming, I think we'll probably see steps towards disclosure, little steps. I'm sure they're going to show us a piece of metal at some point or some footage, which they've got. I mean, they've got the craft, they've got the bodies. I don't know if we'll see that anytime soon. But I think the real big event, and I'm very worried about it, because if you talk to contactees, they've gotten some indication of this from ETs themselves, that our governments, our secret governments, are painting ETs as a threat, pushing a false ET threat narrative, and are possibly going to stage an alien invasion and cause untold damage and loss of life. I can't believe that they made this decision, but this is a lot of buzz in the UFO community about this false flag in ET invasion.
Yeah.
There is an ET threat. It's to the power structure of the power elite.
Oh yeah, not to us. It's to the hierarchy, isn't it?
It's to their a threat to their lies, a threat to their withholding of 99% of the wealth of the world. That's ridiculous.
So to get a little weird on this subject, do you think that has anything to do with the supposed New World Order and uniting the world against one common enemy?
Yeah, I do. I think that, we've always had division fostered, and hatred and fear, which is really unfortunate because we are one world. We are one people. This is one of the main ET messages. We are one. We are you, you are us. We are all together. We're a telepathic race, honestly, but it's been dumbed down out of us with fluoride and processed foods, and not only prescription drugs, but illegal drugs, which are absolutely pushed forth by our own secret governments. So it's a real problem. Yeah, I think that could very well be their sort of game plan. I'm concerned about it because there are people who absolutely are buying into this idea that ETs are here to cause harm or hurt or take over the world. And it's ridiculous. They've been around how long? Since well before recorded history.
Yeah. And if he was going to do anything, surely he would have done it before any of this started.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And having talked to the people who have actually had experiences, they don't feel this way. I mean, there are a few who have definitely had negative experiences. I've interviewed them.
Yeah.
And I never edit people's accounts. If you had a horrible ET experience, I'm going to present it that way. But it's going to be factual so people can read what happened to you and say, well, what was, why was this so negative for you? A lot of it is fear. I don't want to say that for everybody. A person's experience is their experience. And it's not my job to interpret it.
It's like, I'm going to use this analogy, fairground rides. I don't like fairground rides, like the Big Dipper and all that kind of stuff.
Roller coasters.
I've been on one.
Tilt-a-whirl?
Upside down and all that. No, that's not for me. That is not my idea of fun. But people go on it and it's the best day of their life. But it's the same thing. It's like you go in, you experience exactly the same thing. One of you absolutely loves it. The other one wouldn't never leave the house again because of it.
Yeah, I've had people describe the exact same details of an encounter, being taken on board, physically examined, and one's like, I hated it, it was awful, never want to go to I wish they'd go away, and the other's like, I had a good time, this was amazing. I thought it was the most interesting thing ever. But I can tell you, absolutely, objectively, closer to 90-95. It's a mixed bag in the beginning, no doubt. It's very scary in the beginning for people. But almost all of them would not trade it for anything and have learned a lot and been healed and been psychically awakened.
Yeah.
I mean, it's overall a good thing for most people. And the fact that you have...
Sorry?
You're gonna make it.
Yeah, just sitting in one position for 6 hours doesn't do me any good.
Yeah, I feel it.
I'll be fine.
I do it for
This
2
is not a
hours.
good experience.
You're brave, Andy.
It's cool.
Stay
It's
strong.
cool. I'll be
Yeah,
fine.
you notice I keep shifting.
When I start on the vodka, I'll be okay.
Give it a couple hours, or neither of us will make it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good. So, what projects have you got coming up that you can talk about, if you can talk about them?
Yeah, well, I'm still always working on publicizing the more recent books. Dolly Savern. Symmetry is still probably my best. It's my second best-selling book, I think, third, but it's climbing the charts. I put it out 2 years ago, and it's still popping up on the bestseller list.
Oh, wow.
So I'm super excited about that. Just got it on Audible. And
even better.
Right now we're working on Symmetry 2, because this is a lady who's had lifetimes of experience. And when she does a show, I learn something pretty much every time. I'm like, hey, you didn't tell me this. Why couldn't we put this in the book? The book is already, 240, 50 pages. So it's pretty much a pretty big book. But yeah, Symmetry 2 is going to be amazing, because we got a whole list of new experiences that she hasn't talked about. But we're going to kind of double down on the ET message and ET knowledge and their view of science and how they look at the world and humanity. So that's going to be fun. I'm going to do another one on OBEs. Andy, I know we did a show on OBEs.
Yes.
I've been having many. I've been having so many. It's crazy. So I'm going to do another one on that.
See, I've not got past the stage. Oh, I did have a lucid one. So, and I did it without the eye mask, because remember me telling you I could only do it if I put my eye mask on. I was at this place, it was at a building, it was a grey building, and there's grass and there's moss on the building with two other people. I could feel the cold concrete. I could smell the grass and the moss.
Wow.
But then I felt something pull me back, and it's like just flying backwards through the air. And then when I woke up, and I never do this, I sat up in bed, like straight up.
Andy, there you go. That's it. That's an OBE.
That's the only thing I've got. So that was about 4 or 5 months ago, I reckon.
Cool. Yeah, when you start smelling things and feeling it.
Yeah. As soon as I sat up in bed, I remember the smell. I remember the hand, like it being cold. And it's like, why? What? Something must have pulled me back. And just remember, when
you have strong emotion, or when you're out too long, perhaps you have a silver cord that will pull you right back.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
That's probably what it was. But if you even so much as think about your body, boom, you can come right back. The trick is staying out, not getting back in, honestly. It's a lucid dream. That's OBE. It's kind of, they're pretty much the same thing. It's just that in a lucid dream, you're still kind of projecting your own thoughts and creating the environment around you. But you're actually out of body in most cases. I think it was when I become aware of me being out of body, and that was when it was gone.
Do you notice that, like, if you're having a lucid dream and it's really hard to keep it after you realize you're in a dream?
Yep. Don't you hate that?
I did.
Gone.
There are ways to combat that.
In my dream, I'm texting somebody something really weird, and then so my brain in my dream realized, like, this is weird, like, this is a dream, and then a minute later I was awake. Yeah.
Well, next time that happens, try sitting down and meditating, relaxing, because it's the shock that often does it. Or you can try movement, running, or spinning in place, or shouting out, maintain awareness, maintain awareness. I mean, there's little techniques you can do And if you come back in, just relax, let go, and you will go right out. It's much better to have a series of small OBEs than one big long one that you don't remember.
Sure.
Yeah.
I want to remember it if I have an OBE.
But I tell you what I have, and I know because I did it today. I can meditate whilst driving. It sounds dodgy as hell, I know, but trust me.
I hope your boss is watching us.
Don't care anyway. Them, not me.
No.
I don't like sit there with my eyes shut and like do all that. It's like I can just like go into yourself and like just get the focus in that feeling, that energy. It's just
that works.
I've
so taught people who've had OBEs while driving.
Easy.
And they're like, "Who's driving?" Because they're all flying around. But yeah, this is something. Look at professional sports people who are skiing down a mountain or motorbiking or surfing. It's very meditative. It's very focused. It's the same sort of when you're playing music or when you're in the groove of doing anything. That is very meditative, and it's a good. There are all kinds of little techniques you can use. Even reading a good book where you get lost into it, it's kind of a form of dissociation.
And that I've had. That when you're reading a book and you forget where you are, you're so when you visualize everything, you're in there.
Yeah.
See, I used to think I was a slow reader. No comments. I'm not. But it's because sometimes I have to go back and read it again because I, like you said, I visualize it. I see, I like how they're dressed, what the environment's like, everything that's going on. I have to be able to picture it. Otherwise, I'm just reading and I'm not remembering it. If I get a visualization of everything that's going on, you become part of that story. Like I'm on about like fiction. You become part of that story then, and you can. You feel everything that's going on.
I remember when I read The Hobbit.
You feel like one of the missing character or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The narrator.
Remember the book The Hobbit where they go through the Golden Forest, Lothlorien? I reread that book. It's like a paragraph. I'm like, gosh, it seems so vivid in my head the first time I read that.
Yeah.
Your ability to visualize is crucial to develop psychic ability. And if you can meditate and picture the deep blue sea, or a red rose, or the white snow, or a beautiful tree, you're on your way to being able to really develop telepathic abilities, clairvoyance, all of the stuff that comes along with waking up we shouldn't call them supernatural. They're not. They're natural abilities.
Yeah. I've always said that. Because it's there. It's just reawakening it. Learning how to use it again.
Exactly. Yep. We really shouldn't even need cell phones. We could talk directly to people and visualize. This is how the ETs do it. Their technology is very psychically based. All of it.
Being able to reach me whenever. I like to put my cell phone away. Don't talk to me. Get out of the brain.
I'll tell you what I've been doing lately. So I speak to Simon and Darren quite a lot on the phone. We'll start talking about specific subjects, and Darren will be like, "I've just watched a video on that," or we'll talk about it. Then he'll message me. I just come off the phone to you, and such a thing's come on the TV. Or the other one where I'll ring them as I'm getting a message through from that person to do with something we spoke about. Right. And I'm creating my own numbers. The ones, the fours, the threes.
Yeah. Don't you love it when that happens? Synchronicity.
But it's always so I drive a van for a living. So when I fuel up pretty much every morning, fuel up and then go out and do the rate that I'm on. And I'll be at the pump and I'll be like, and I get the price of it and the amount, and they're both, even though they're different numbers, I'll get like £44.88, and it'll be say 31 litres, 31.31 litres, and there'll be a lot of synchronicity in the numbers. And it's like, how can I do? I've never been able to do this before. Yeah, and it's not just because of the price of fuel, because I'm putting a different amount of fuel in every day, but I'm creating that number rhythm. It's so weird. I'm just standing at the pump laughing to myself. Sorry?
Did you like consciously like put that out there? Like, this is the number, this is what it means, or like?
No. So I started doing it a couple of weeks ago. This week I've noticed that I'm consciously doing it. I'm like, right, let's see what numbers I get today. And it's like the other day I got 44.88 and it was 31.31, something like that. And it's like, yes, that's good. And it's a pattern, like a routine of it all. But I don't know how I'm doing it.
It always makes me feel like we're on the right track. Like the universe is sort of like, yeah, the red carpet is rolling out for you. It's like you are on your right path. I love it when that happens. Yeah, it's very cool. And
I just get really, like you said, what good, warm feeling about it. There's no negativity of it. It's nice.
Yeah, I love it. I think there's a lot to learn from synchronicity.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it in the UFO field. It happens a lot. I've been led to witnesses that way. I've got a bunch of cases where there's contactees who are sort of hooked up in, synchronistic ways. Turns out they're both contactees. It's like this ET dating service almost, like they're getting set up. My brother and sister-in-law are a good example, really.
Right. Oh, yeah, I remember you saying, yeah.
What happened with your brother and sister-in-law?
She, Christy, was driving. Let me see. She was at a bus station or something and saw my brother driving by, and they waved at each other. They didn't know each other. Years later, of course, they met, and he's had contact, and so has she. Wow. But I forget exactly how they met. It was some weird synchronistic way. It was my other brother's. She was a friend of my other. I don't know. I'd have to dig that one up.
But either way, they met before, but not really.
All interconnected.
Yeah, once I was with Christy and Mark was driving, and I was in the back seat, and we had this truck right next to us. And Christy shouts out, because the light turns green, and Christy says, "Beware of red light runners." And Marco looks at her and doesn't go through the green light. And at that point, this bus goes right through the intersection. We would have been dead. And you couldn't see it because there was this truck right next to us. I'm like, oh my God, Christy, how did you know? Like, I don't know. It just came to her. I've seen her do this before. I see that, I see Dolly do this kind of thing. Contactees are so psychic.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Something, you just reminded me. Something like that happened to me. Not far from where I'm living now. There's country roads as you come round to get back on the bypass. And the line coming, it's like 50, 60 miles an hour. As I'm coming round this bend, there's a car in front of me. I can't remember exactly, either pulled out or it slowed down. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, right? Because I was coming up to this turning, I was taking the next right. So I was going to pull into the filter lane to turn right. If I'd have got there was a tractor coming round that had pulled out to turn down this road. A bus, because you mentioned the bus, a bus had pulled out to go around the tractor, and it went through the filter lane. So I would have hit it head on at about 80 mile an hour impact. And I'm like, oh my God, because straight away I'd seen what would have happened. I'm like, that's why that car was there.
Wow.
To stop that from happening.
I laughed so hard once. I'm driving. My dad is driving. My dad doesn't believe in anything, right?
Right.
Up to the day he never read one of my books. He was so mad I got into UFOs. I was really mad about it. He really was. So we're driving along, and he's he's an amazing guy. He's always trying to teach you, right? So he taught me how to drive mostly. And we're behind a truck.
Yeah.
He says, Preston, whenever I was, probably 15 or so, he says, never follow behind a truck because they will spit up gravel and it'll come up, a little piece will hit your windshield and it'll break your windshield. And so he gets up from behind the truck. This sports car races around us, zooms ahead, spits out a piece of gravel, breaks the windshield. I turned to him, I'm like, Dad! That was psychic.
Yeah.
And he did not think so. And I've seen him do this kind of thing before. And he always just kind of shrugs it off. It's funny as hell.
Has he had any experiences with ETs or anything like that, do you think? I
wish he would have been more forthcoming or open to it. I think he might have, because he hated the subject. And I've come to learn that if you have a strong emotional reaction to it, I mean, if you're all in, that's a big red flag. And if you're like, no, get it away from me, shut up, go away, don't want to talk about it, red flag.
Yeah.
But I never got him to admit that he saw anything. So I don't know. It has to be, because it's in our family. I mean, I am so neck deep in it now. I've been pulled on board. I've had missing time. I've had a dozen sightings. My little sister has had missing time. Both sister-in-laws have seen ETs. I have 2 nephews who had close encounters. One saw a humanoid. Yes, it's in our family. So they follow family lines, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah, I was saying before. Yeah. Wow.
But it's really interesting, like the older generations, the things they won't talk about.
Yeah.
Like, dismiss when they might have had, they might have abilities or they might have had encounters, but you just didn't talk about it.
Yeah. I never got to talk to my grandmothers about it. Never knew my grandfathers. And back, and the farther back you go, people weren't even thinking about ETs. If something happened, it was probably a spirit or a demon or something psychic.
But it's like, my dad doesn't even know I do this YouTube channel. Watch him pop up now, I go, yes, I do. But he doesn't know I do this YouTube because it's not something that we ever spoke about. So I've no need to mention it. That makes sense.
Yeah. I've talked to a lot of contactees whose parents are getting old and getting sick, and then they're on their deathbed and they're like, honey, I've got something to tell you. The guy I interviewed, he's got crazy encounters, and his mom says, I got to tell you something. Yes, I have had an encounter. One chased me home, and he's like, Mom, I've been telling you this for years, and you've always said, no, there's nothing to it. And she's like, I didn't want to talk about it.
Wow.
I've heard that kind of thing a few times.
Really?
I think there's more of that than we realize.
I think, like we were saying earlier, though, a lot of people, they don't tell you what's really going on because they don't want to scare you or put you under what's the word? You know what I mean, don't you?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, well,
but also they don't want to separate themselves.
They want to protect you. Yeah. Because if they say to you,
realization of what's going on.
Yeah.
But if they say to you, I've had this going on, and you're going to think, oh, great, it's going to be happening to me all the time. So it's constant worry. That's what I was looking for.
But even yourself, yourself, then you may be thinking it's going to happen again.
Yep.
Yeah.
That does happen. I've had people like, well, every time I start talking about UFOs, they come back. One lady in me said, every single time. I'm like, okay. But what I would just wish for parents who have children, and if you're a contactee and your child starts having experiences, please listen to them. I can't tell you how many people I've interviewed who said, my parents thought I was having a nightmare. They didn't believe me. I had no support system. Because contact starts usually age 4, 3. I mean, depending on how early you can remember.
I was 4.
Yep, I'm telling you, this is definitely a thing. So, I wrote a book about UFOs for children because of this.
Yeah.
I want to put out another because it happens at such a young age.
Yeah, and that's it. You don't, because when I was having the things that went on, it didn't seem that bad at the time. It did scare me, but I didn't speak to anyone about it. But I never felt like, I say it all the time, I never felt the need to have to tell anyone. I shared a room with my brother, my mum and dad were in the next room, and it wasn't something that I ever thought, I'll tell them that I've seen these, like, what I felt like these shadow figures stood around the bed, or the light outside the bedroom, or the dancing light beings on the wall. I just didn't feel like to tell anyone about it.
You know, people can have a major experience, and a group of people, they will not talk about it with each other afterwards. There's this weird self-censoring effect, which I think is probably us doing it. I think sometimes the ETs will encourage it because the last thing they want to do is cause, an upset in someone's life.
Yeah.
They don't want to cause trauma. That's not their goal by any means. I think they let people come to their own realization at their own pace.
Yeah.
Is that why you think they plant like screen memories sometimes?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I think there's a couple of things going on. When it's with young children, I think they might encourage that because I don't think, again, they don't want to scare people. But screen memories turn up a lot with kids, especially. I've heard it all. Yeah. One lady, she described how she's like, who are these 3-foot-tall teddy bears coming into my room? And one day she just saw right through it. She's like, oh my gosh, they're little grays. She didn't think of them as grays. She just thought, wow, these people look different. Yeah. But I've heard superheroes, animals of all kinds. You name it. Clowns.
Yes, that's what mine were. Mine were like Frankenstein, Dracula, a zombie. So I used to watch, even not as a little child, it's probably I'm a bit messed up now. I used to watch all like Hammer House of Horror and Day of the Dead, the Triffids, all that kind of stuff. The Alfred Hitchcock movies, yeah. So I visualized these things that stuck around the bed were each character from each of these programs or movies that I'd be watching.
Yeah. Well, we have belief systems, right? And we view the world through our belief system. And it's really hard to rise above that. And this is why I like children as witnesses who've never seen UFOs, because they will just describe, whatever it is they're seeing. Whereas adults are like, I had one lady's like, I was visited by a demon. I'm like, okay, let's go. Tell me about it. She's like, well, she was in a hotel, the Marriott, like the 10th story of the Marriott Hotel in Woodland Hills, California, very densely populated. I'm like, what happened? She says, well, the room filled with this red light. I'm like, okay. She said, something was standing on my bed. I'm like, what did it look like? She said, it was really skinny and had this huge head. I'm like, okay, here we go. Yeah. And I asked her, what's happened? She's like, well, yeah, there's UFO landed in the alley behind my house. I'm like, oh, well, Tracy, that was her name, Tracy Storr. She let me use her real name. And all her friends were having encounters. That's turned out her best friend, Terry Smith, I was working with. That's why I found out about it. She had an encounter too, same night. She thought it was demonic. I'm like, no, I don't think so. Because I've got, if you see the books behind me, I've got all the books I could find on angels and demons and ghosts and spirits and hauntings and poltergeists and channeling and multiple personalities. I mean, you name it. I've tried to look it up and figured this out, because there's a big school of thought out there that some of these ETs are, demonic spirits.
Yeah. How much of religion do you attribute to ETs and misinterpreted visitations?
Yeah, a portion of it for sure. It's very hard to go back in history and sort of interpret, but I find it super interesting that angels accounts will come down and say the same things. Have no fear, no harm will come to you. Quite a few accounts of angelic visitations in various religious writings where they say exactly that. And some of these accounts of glowing figures coming down and healing people. I think angels are probably real, though. and I'm certain demons are, because I've investigated some demonic hauntings that were not okay. I mean, it was nasty and it's very scary.
Ooh.
Because you just kind of think about like the story of like even like Jesus's birth. They followed a star to like, were they following a star? Were they following what were they following?
Yeah, the Book of Enoch, the Wheels of Ezekiel. I'm not a expert on Bible UFO encounters, but Michael Carter, he's a researcher and experiencer here in the U.S.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to say about it. Barry Downing wrote, I think, the first major book about UFOs and the flying saucers. Definitely. But we've got all kinds of things going on here. You know, Jacques Vallée latched onto the whole fairy lore.
Yeah.
Look, it's all the same thing. I'm like, Jacques, I need to sit down with this guy because I'm still getting accounts of people who are seeing elves and gnomes and little people. They're in all cultures. I think that's a separate thing, honestly, because it's not, you know, it doesn't quite fit what's happening to people who are pulled on board and, you know, have a missing pregnancy or an implant or are being healed or taken to another planet. And this sort of thing. I mean, there's commonalities, but I'm guessing a fairy is a fairy. Bigfoot is a Bigfoot, you know, a ghost is a ghost, an angel. I'm not ready to lump them all into one thing.
Yeah. But even though you're saying that they're all individual things, do you think they could all be coming from the same place, same source?
Yeah, like us, we're all from source.
Yeah.
So, you know, from a higher perspective, yeah, we all come from the same place. It's really interesting because if you look at the accounts of humanoids and ETs, they're almost all of them. There are a few outliers, which I wonder about, but almost all cases when someone reports a UFO occupant, it's going to be a humanoid. That really bothered me for a long time until I started unpacking it. I'm like, okay, I think this is the universal template. I do think that they're coming from, you know, or people are like, well, they're interdimensional. Who isn't? Nicole, you're interdimensional. I mean, we're all interdimensional. Trees are interdimensional. You go to the other side, you will see trees.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how useful or, you know, helpful it is to say, well, ETs are interdimensional and coming from another dimension. Yeah, us too. You know, and that's where we're going. And, you know, hopefully not too soon, knock on wood. But we will be going to another dimension at some point.
Yeah, but it's like I was watching a video a while back, and the guy was saying it made sense. I can't say exactly what he said because he's gone into like the dynamics of it all. But if we exist in the third dimension, we also exist in the second and the first. So straight away, you're existing in 3 dimensions. So you are interdimensional, and then you got 4, 5, 6, and then you say it works backwards. So yeah, unless you only exist in the first dimension, you are interdimensional. Yeah.
Well, the human body is, I've come to realize this, you know, we talk about going out of body to the 4th dimension in our astral body, where it's all one body. It just has different aspects to it. You are connected to source 100%. And you are just sort of moving your awareness through different levels of who you really are. And astral projection is a misnomer because that's where we're projecting down to the 3rd dimension. Really, it's not the other way. We're going back to where we came from. And when we're down here on Earth, we're projecting down from basically source, to simplify it. But yeah, it's all one body with different levels, or I'm trying to figure it out still. Eastern religions have it all unpacked. They call it the physical body, the etheric, the astral, the mental, the causal, the Buddhic, and the Akashic. They say we have 7 bodies. So,
yes. Wow. That's the 7 lives, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, because they've really figured things out in a way, some of the Tibetan Buddhists and stuff.
Yeah. It's just, it's like the more questions you want, the less, or the more answers you want, the more questions you get.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the deeper you go down the rabbit hole, and then it just goes.
Yeah.
It's like 10 more.
You ever tried to climb a mountain and then you're like, okay, I'm almost at the top. No, you come around the top and oh no, I'm not even close. I'm giving up.
Yeah.
That's it. I can't.
Yeah.
I have a question from Michael. Preston, do you feel that the astral plane is a true world and this Earth is a simulation type world?
I wouldn't put it quite that way. I think that the third dimension is real and objective and exists without us. It follows certain laws, as near as I can tell, each dimension does. But I will say it's pales in comparison to the astral plane, because if you probably all had a really vivid dream where the colors are just popping out and you can feel things, and it's just wow. When you have a fully conscious OBE, you will get a taste of it, because the color red, color blue, all the colors are, I don't even know how, it's like super high definition would be the best way of putting it. It's much more the real world on the other side. This is a pale imitation. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just aching a little bit at the bottom of my back. I'll be all right.
All right.
Oh, not long to go.
Well,
not long at all.
7 more hours. How long are you going? 20?
24.
We've done 7 and I don't know, 6.5. I don't even know. I think we've done
to part 3 after this.
Oh yes, yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I've done it into 8 parts just to make it easier for people to watch back, and it stops YouTube from archiving it as well.
Yeah.
I love
that question from Michael, because you should absolutely try to do OBEs, and you will absolutely see how real the astral world is. It is mind blowing. I mean, the Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy goes over the rainbow, has nothing to this. It is so much more real. It's like, where the heck have I been?
Yeah. So far, I've got a tall grey derelict building with moss on it. So it's a start. You've got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Anytime I try to see things like that, all I see is a road, like just a long straight road with like woods on either side.
Yeah, well, that's a part of it for sure. I had a lot of that in the beginning. It's they call it the valley of the shadow of death. It can be a corridor, it can be a road, it can be a tunnel. That's what the near-death experiencers usually describe, but they'll often describe a road as well. So that is sort of how you get from one dimension to another.
See, I keep going.
Snap your fingers, you're there.
I keep going back to a house, but it's the same house in the same place. It's got the same furniture in it, but there's different people each time, but it's real. And it's like there's a bridge there, and there's a farm, and there's like other people about, and then you go in the house, and there's certain rooms that when you first go in the house, you don't know that the rooms are there. But if you walk a certain way through the house, it brings you to these hidden rooms.
Man, very cool. There are places we go to on the other side which are real. And people say dreams are not that real. They're real. Every dream you've ever had, you can go back to it. There's a bookstore I go to. I'll wake up in and I'm like, oh my gosh, because I keep trying to figure out where the hell this bookstore is. It's in the heavenly realms. No, I've been down to the lower realms too, and they're nasty, dark.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
I'm curious about it.
You're not going back
now.
Yeah, you've seen what you didn't want to see, and you're not going back again.
But there's absolutely, you can go to, we all basically have little homes on the other side that we can go to. Yeah.
See, well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this house that I keep going back to is where I live.
Or it could be a past life memory, because that will, if you have something recurring, sometimes that is a past life thing as well.
But it's quite regular. And it,
houses on the other side?
Oh, sorry?
So do we get to pick our own houses on the other side, or are they like assigned?
No, this one's like 7-8 bedroom, and like it's got garages and farm with outhouses and barns and all that. But with Preston just saying that then, it does feel like it was back in time.
Hmm.
I can't remember what people were wearing though, but I don't remember seeing any cars.
Yeah,
And
I
like I
kind of
said,
got
it was
that
like
feeling when you were talking about it. I'm like,
like farm, like I'd say late 1800s,
Well,
if I had to guess.
yeah, it's probably trying to teach you something because we are one continuous entity, and we carry on all the knowledge and trauma and all the skills and desires. And in fact, if you want to know about your past lives, start looking at your talents, your phobias, your dislikes and likes, your foibles, all the things that make you, your personality. But yeah, Nicole, you absolutely can build your own house, whatever kind of house you want. And it's really cool to do because it's not hard. You just kind of sit there and think about it, and boom, there goes the walls. Boom, 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 boom. It is the craziest thing to do.
Right. Yeah, I think I need to look into it more. I have, when I'm driving about, I do try and look for this house, and one day I thought I found it, but then it was just like the land where it was looked familiar, but the house itself was a little bit different.
Interesting.
So I don't think I didn't get the feeling that was it.
Yeah, well, only you would know.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought. I thought if it is that, if that is the house, then it'd be an instant take on it.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it because when you were starting to talk about it, I'm like getting the feeling this is a past life thing.
Right. Yeah, I was just thinking it was like another parallel universe sort of thing. Like, that makes sense. Like running alongside of this one, not past, not future, but.
Well, you can explore this. When you go to bed, you don't have to do anything special. Just say, tonight I want to go to that house. Just set the intention. That's what astral travel is really good at. If you just go to bed and like, tonight I want to meet my deceased loved ones. Tonight I want to go to a healing temple. Tonight I want to meet my spirit guide. Tonight I want to learn about a past life. Whatever.
But Andy, you're gonna have to wait quite a while before you try that.
And you.
Well, you have a party to go to. I can go to bed as soon as we get off of this tomorrow.
Not if I fall asleep first. Right, I've got another question for you, Preston. It's from Michael again. What do you think the shadow realms are in the astral plane? Any theories why they exist?
Well, I'm not entirely sure about the question, but what I can say is that there are different, how would I put it, gradations or dimensions or levels. When everyone dies, we usually go to this place that's really beautiful. It's gardens, it's trees, everything's glowing with light. There's no shadows. Your pets are there. It's the most beautiful place you've ever seen. But not everybody goes there. They go to sometimes lower levels. And I've met some people who have passed. My best friend died of alcoholism. And it was about a month after he died. I found him and he was in hell, literally. It was completely dark. He was screaming. He was in absolute agony. He didn't know where he was.
Yeah.
My brother was in a pretty dark place. He died of alcoholism as well. And I've explored lower realms, which are very much filled with shadows. And some of them are, very difficult to navigate. But then again, when you go from one dimension to another, there's this weird shadowy sort of foggy place. For me, this has been my experience. Not everyone might experience this. But right when I'm about to hit the other side, I'm in this weird place that is very shadowy and very misty and foggy. And it's like diving into a pool of crystal water. It's like, boom, okay, you're in a different density. It's less dense, kind of, but in a weird way, more energetic.
Yeah.
So it's hard to describe. It's like walking through a soap bubble and bloop. Like, whoa.
That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be.
Oh, sorry. Just So, getting this started. So, we've got about 3-4 minutes left. Is that okay, Preston?
Yeah, sure.
So, how do you differentiate then if someone's like telling the truth with an account or trying to have you over just for the sake of it?
Oh, in terms of like when I'm interviewing someone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you start to get a feel for it. I go through a whole process. I will do a preliminary interview, sort of gauge it there, which is not recorded, but I will take notes. And if I feel like this person is telling me the truth, I will do a second recorded interview and go over my notes and see if their story changes. And there are little things you look for. I mean, I don't want to give away all my tricks, but
No.
You know, there are standard interviewing techniques. And certainly if a person's account is consistent. But I will say this, if it's too consistent, that can be a red flag too. Because people have a tendency to remember things a little bit differently or add things in that they didn't quite, remember to add in. And that I see often. And when you like, for instance, when you're interviewing 4 people who've seen a UFO, they kind of each has a little bit different viewpoint and give pieces of the puzzle to build a whole picture of what happened. But people will say stuff like, please don't use my name. If someone's asking me for money, forget it. I'm not talking to you.
Yeah.
Even if the story is true, it's like, no. And you vet a person's story because you can fact check quite a bit when someone says something. Also, I always ask for references, and you can tell when a person gets really emotional. Now, there are actors out there, no doubt, and I'm sure I've been hoaxed because I've interviewed a lot of people. But it's my experience that very few people will reach out to another person to share their story because it takes courage, and especially in a hostile climate where so many people will say, don't use my name. I haven't told my wife. I have not told my husband. I've got a good job. I don't have a history of mental illness. I graduated college with honors. I mean, people will go through these various, ways, and also they'll withhold high strangeness details.
Right.
And when someone does that, I'm like, okay, we got a real one here, because the person who's trying to pull one over is going to basically
give you everything.
But I mean, there's all sorts of. The repeated interview technique, I think, is probably the best way.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. And we've got one last question for you from Nickname. He's asking, Preston, are there any cases you need assistance with, i.e. lack of witnesses coming forward on a public case?
Well, I mean, to some extent, I tend to work alone because I work best that way. But when I do have, like, when there's a major event, I'll point to the June 14th, 1992 in Topanga Canyon. A bunch of people called the police. I think there was 4 calls. Got the recordings. I got the police tapes. They were leaked out. And 3 or 4 people called the local newspaper. And so I started a whole investigation to find witnesses. And I was putting up flyers. I was going door to door. I was cold calling people. I don't know if you've ever cold called someone on a UFO investigation. That's rough.
For sure.
But over the years, I found more and more witnesses. And if I had had a team to go out and help people with that, it would have made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
So when I hit a real big case, I will, bring some people in if I can. Usually it's family or someone I trust.
People you can trust. Yeah.
I do know some newfound field investigators who I trust, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, that does certainly happen, but for the most part, I just kind of do all my legwork by myself.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, when you do that, you know what you're getting. You're doing it the way that you want it to be done. So you're not having to go over anything or double check anything.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't want to be caught, with my pants down, so to speak.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
The work.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
well,
yeah,
I
think we should all encourage each other to do investigations. This field is desperately in need of attention, of people who should take it seriously. There's so much that's not being covered, so much that's being lost to posterity. Most people aren't talking about it. I always tell people, if you don't believe this, I dare you to ask your family, your friends, and your coworkers. And if you ask 40 people, because we probably all know about that, I can almost guarantee you're going to get the most amazing story that has not been recorded.
Yeah. Right. And definitely last question. This is from Michael again. Can lucid dreaming become confused as in astral projection?
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of debate about this, and various authors and experiencers of this phenomena have differing opinions on it. And I've got mine. I think they're essentially the same thing, as I said, because when you're having a lucid dream, you're out of body. The only real difference is you are perceiving an environment that you created. It's your mental projections. That's the only difference. And you can walk out of a lucid dream into an OBE really easily by just walking through a wall or spinning or saying all illusion end. And the same darn thing can happen. You can be in a full-blown OBE, flying around, you're in your house, and you slip right into a lucid dream or a plain old dream. It can be very confusing, especially in the beginning. So, 100%. I think they're the same thing. If you're lucid dreaming, you're there. You're ready. And congratulations, because it's just as hard to do, I think. It's not that hard. If you're willing to do the work, I've got a little guide. I send it out to anyone who wants it. Email me, and I will send it.
Well, you did the show for us where we did the meditation with you. I didn't, because I'd probably still be under it. But it's on the channel where you talk us how to get into the meditative state, and then like step-by-step guide through it. And that on its own is worth listening to, if nothing else. It's amazing. It really is.
Thanks.
So thank you for doing that.
I really want people to do it.
You could clip that part and put it as a separate video too, so people could watch it.
Yeah. Or email me, PrestonUFO@gmail.com. I've got a two or 3 page guide. And I guarantee if you follow the steps, and that's where everyone falls short. Like, you got to do the work. I mean, really, you have to. And it takes some effort. It takes a little time and effort, but it's not hard. It took me less than 2 months. It took me about 6 weeks. And I started having immediate results in the first 3 days. I'm like, wow, my dreams, this is crazy. I started remembering 3, 4, 5 dreams a night.
Wow.
Very quickly, pre-lucid, and then boom, I was off and on my way.
Yeah, it took me to get to that lucid dream stage. It took me about 6 months, but I wasn't doing it constantly. I think if I'd have been doing it like literally every night, I'd have got there a lot sooner. But I was probably only doing it maybe twice a week, if that.
Yeah.
So
it's like learning guitar or piano or a computer program or a foreign language. You got to go all in if you really want to learn, how to speak
definitely
Spanish. You're going to have to, do the lessons.
Yeah. You got to put the hard work in to get the good stuff out.
It's 11:11.
I took French for 7 years. I still can't speak it that well. I can speak it, but I can't really. It's hard to understand.
Yeah.
I speak so fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a little bit of French.
I know.
Hello, goodbye, and very good.
The only French I know is from the Lady Marmalade song.
I can count in French, so I'm not going to do it again. But yeah, and some of the colours, and that's it.
I can get by.
I'll probably last about a day.
I can count to 10 in Farsi and Czechoslovakian.
Oh.
Let's do a show where we just count in every different language.
He's showing off now.
I couldn't
No, it's
help
good.
it. I love languages. You know, I'm a writer.
Yeah.
I love it.
No,
think
it's been
it's
great.
One word that's like the same in every language, and then you have that outlier that's like completely different than any of them.
Yeah, English.
I think the earliest word was mama.
Mama.
I seem to remember that. Or yes. It was one of those that couldn't decide. But
Yeah.
that's almost the same in a lot of languages. Ma.
Yeah, you get loads of every other language. The word is very similar, and the pronunciation and how it's written. I think it's either grapefruit or pineapple. In every other language, it's literally the same word.
Really?
Like 16, and you get to English, pineapple, because that's how constructive they are when it comes to.
Yeah, it's weird. Phones don't
today.
ring in France. They go drin, drin, drin. All the animals make different sounds. It's funny. Onomatopoeia, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I remember that now.
Which is a really fun word to try to spell.
Don't ask me.
I probably couldn't even say it.
Because it has one of those weird, like, OEI somethings in it.
Oh, like pareidolia. Don't ask me to spell that one either.
No.
Pareidolia?
Yeah.
I can't even pronounce it.
I see it, but I can't pronounce it.
There it is. You were right. Almost all the vowels there in one stretch.
No, I've never been able to get that. Not a chance. Right, so we are coming up to the end of part
2.
So thank you, Preston, so much for coming on. Absolute pleasure as always.
I'm going to be emailing you.
Yes, you'll have to let us know when you booked out as well, and then I'll put it on the Facebook group. And you're a member of the group anyway, so if you want to share it on there or send me the link, do it either way or both.
Very cool.
So really appreciate it, and it's great talking to you as always. Love these chats, absolutely love them.
Yeah.
So so we're going to end this one now, and then we're going to go to part 3, but we are going to have a quick break for like 5 minutes.
Take a lap. Yeah.
Yeah. 5 hours. I need to stand up and walk. So thank you so much, Preston, for coming on. Thank you, Dolly, for joining the membership. Really appreciate it. And thank you, everyone who's still with us in the chat, and everyone else that's joining in. So
we're almost 7 hours in.
Right.
Not 5, we're almost 7 hours in. We started at 4:30.
When I said I can count in French, that means I cannot now count in English. So gain and lose. That's how it goes. Right. So thanks again, Preston. Hopefully you'll come back on in the new year.
Yes.
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah.
Oh, anytime. Yeah, everyone's welcome all the time. Love all of you. Really do. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, Preston. And we're going to end this. So if you want to carry on watching, go back onto the YouTube channel and click on part 3. So I'll see you all in 5-10 minutes. So cheers. See you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.